last spring break, my ex-boyfriend came down here, and the same day I broke up with him and made him fly back on a flight like an hour later.
Damn, okay. Can you tell the story, like why you did that?
I mean, things were rocky beforehand. He thought it was a good idea to come down and surprise me, but obviously that wasn't the case, so I sent him back.
Yeah, no, now during spring break, it's not the time. Yeah. Was he like already jealous, kind of?
Yeah, he was very, she would know. Yeah, I was there.
Very controlling.
Yeah.
Was that a good decision?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because now I'm happy with the new boyfriend. Yes.
Oh, good.
You notice that the men who have money never have a problem with the women who like material things?
Well, let's think about this rationally for a moment. A lot of the men that have excess money, and by excess, I mean more money than they necessarily need to get by on a daily or yearly basis and don't have to live paycheck to paycheck, a lot of times probably don't worry about having to budget down to the last penny. So spending money on incidentals or things that don't necessarily matter that much really isn't that big of a deal.
But the men that don't have money make it a huge issue.
Might that be because a lot of men out there actually have to live within their means and cannot justify spending money on things that a woman just wants because they want it? They actually have to worry about spending their money on things that are valuable and meaningful and that they need in life.
Is that a coincidence?
What is not a coincidence is that is spoken like someone who's never actually had to be careful with their finances. Otherwise, they would understand why some men are careful with what they spend.
And many men still don't realize it. These modern women who call themselves strong and independent are actually looking to feel empowered, but with a man's or a sponsor's money. They want expensive dates, $5,000 handbags, dinners at exclusive places, but all paid for by the man, not with their own money. They save their own money. They want someone else to cover the expenses. Women like this, materialistic, not looking for a partner but for a financial father to pay their bills, are exactly the ones ending up the loneliest. They're the ones men with money use for one night and never stick around for. And they don't even try to hide it anymore. These days, they ask for money openly, as if it were part of the deal. Watch the next video. It's going to leave you speechless.
So, you made an appointment for a house visit and don't have the funds.
Always. Just like how I plan vacation and don't have paid time off.
Girl, what the hell? Are you some kind of hooker or something? Girl, you need to be running. Because she begging on the first goddamn date.
That's smart. Do you?
Yeah.
That usually works. I hear you.
No, I made the appointment because I had to tell her, and I would just cash up the money.
Yeah.
That's it. It's not like,
Well, where I fit in that equation.
whatever you cash up me, I'm sending it her.
Oh, so I got a cash app you going?
Yeah. I can send it to her.
Girl, you talking about some goddamn hairdo that you can't afford. And you about to have surgery? You need to be having surgery on your brain. Because your thought process is not too well.
My hair is like $25 because it's the kink line. I'm getting flat. I'm having surgery, so it makes sense to get flat.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to do nothing. So I'm praying my surgery go well and I'm able to heal quickly and get rid of the gas like in my stomach and able to sip the water and the protein shake like I'm supposed to. So I can go back to work in 3 weeks versus going back to work later. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be rough trying to pull money out of people to help me pay my bills at next.
Pull money out of people? Girl, I don't even know how you fix your mouth to say some shit like that. You should be embarrassed. And sir, that should have been your cue to go. I don't even know why the hell you still sitting there.
My disability gonna kick in. It's gonna kick in after my rent due.
You need to sell some frozen cups or something.
Nick, sell some this.
Sell some business. With frozen cups. Ain't nobody Ain't nobody got pussy in frozen cup.
Not frozen cups with the pee. I don't want that shit. How for a goddamn hairdo. Girl, you should be ashamed of your goddamn self. That is terrible. Really freaking embarrassing.
You love me, you gonna make sure I'm good.
I mean, shit.
Period.
I can drop you off to the appointment.
I got my own car.
I mean, I mean,
Man, you could get
I could use it just half of what?
$100.
At this point, you still sitting there with that big ass red flag. You are interested in getting some of that hooker poo, but you'd want it for free. You don't want to pay.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Here, we're all on the same page. That table wasn't a date, it was a negotiation. Because that woman belongs to the streets, and they don't even bother to hide it anymore, brothers. The man gave her the bill, and she responded by saying she would treat him well. From that point on, it's his decision. In my case, I would have walked away immediately. If she does that on a first date with me, imagine how many times she's done it before, or worse, the diseases that woman might have. Man, the so-called female empowerment is a joke, because everything is funded with a man's money. And then they go around bragging that they're strong and independent.
Women.
What do you look for in a man?
Quality.
And what does quality look like to you?
Basics? Basics?
Which is?
You have your own goals, your own job, your own car, your own place, and you're striving for yourself.
So if a man lived at home and he didn't have a car at 30 years old.
Now if you're in New York, it's different. You're in Houston, you need a car.
You wouldn't take him seriously?
No.
You wouldn't give him a shot?
No, because you drive everywhere.
You don't think that's materialistic?
You're wasting money. You're wasting money. No, it's literally financially irresponsible.
Do you have a car?
Yes.
Okay,
I own my own vehicle.
So why couldn't you guys share it?
Huh? That's not... He's coming into my life and you want me to share with my life and I've already got my own base? So you want me to support him when I've already got my own base?
I'm just asking you.
I'm just asking you.
No, I'm asking you.
No, I'm asking you. I said...
That's a deal breaker for you.
Depending on the city, if you don't need a vehicle, then you don't need a vehicle. In Houston, you need a vehicle wherever you're going. Financially irresponsible if you don't have your own vehicle.
You don't need a vehicle if you can use Uber or Lyft.
Waste of money, irresponsibly, financially irresponsible. That's basics. You're wasting money Ubering 24/7 when you could have a car payment at half the cost.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
She's coming into my life and wants me to share my resources with her. But that's exactly what every man does when a broke woman enters his life. Why doesn't she say, let's move forward together, let's work hard, I'll help him with his finances? She won't say that. She just thinks the man should give her everything simply for existing. Finding a woman who actually wants to be a teammate and build a future together is almost impossible. They're only thinking about finding a winner, where the only thing they bring to the table is their presence. That's why they're single and hitting the wall. Because men are no longer willing to be the beta provider.
Would you rather date someone out of your league or below your league?
Oh my God, out of my league for sure. I gotta shoot high. Out of your league, definitely. I'm the winner in that scenario.
Out of my league, for sure. Yeah, I can handle that. It's all good.
Out of my league.
I told you all the guys are going to say this.
Every single man that she interviewed said they want a woman that's out of their league, but the truth is they can't handle it. Whether she makes more money, is more successful, is more attractive, usually they can't handle it. Some men can only be in a relationship where they feel they have the upper hand. They'll usually cheat on her with somebody that they feel is less than, somebody that's beneath them, especially even somebody that she hired. They'll cheat on her with the maid or the chef or the nanny. And it's just like a power move. They want to feel that sense of importance. And if they can't get it from you, they'll usually seek it out in somebody else. When women say they want somebody who is more successful or they want somebody that's out of their league, it's because we know as women in our hearts, y'all couldn't handle it if we made more money. You couldn't handle it if we were a 10 and you were a 5. You couldn't handle it if everybody knew our name and nobody knew yours. Like, you actually can't handle that thing you think that you crave.
Stop it. Get some help.
Female and male hypergamy are different. That woman doesn't understand that when a man says he's looking for a woman of lower value than himself, What he's really showing is a lack of confidence, and that's not attractive in any man. Besides, women look for high-value men because they provide financial security, especially during times of crisis or in case they get pregnant. Men, on the other hand, see women for who they are, not for what they bring. We notice their beauty, their charisma, their personality, and how they carry themselves. We say, that's the kind of woman I want in my life. Money doesn't factor into the equation. That's why we're willing to pursue her even if she's financially ahead of us.
Every single man that she interviewed said they want a woman that's out of their league, but the truth is they can't handle it.
Baby, listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. As someone that recently broke up with someone that considered me out of their league, whatever you do as a woman, if a man has ever uttered those words to you, or if in your head you're like, I'm like way too pretty, or I have too much going on for this guy, I'm gonna need you to pack it up and run, because nothing good comes out of this dynamic. I was in this relationship for way longer than it should have went, but I learned a few things. I went into this relationship thinking, okay, he's never treated me, or he's never had a woman like me. He's going to treat me like the queen of England. Far from the truth, okay? First month, it was cute, okay? The mask is still on. Second, third month roll around, when the mask eventually like falls off, they start thinking they're the prize. You know, now they're wanting you to chase. Now they want compliments. Now they're treating you like you're the ugly one. Don't know why this happens. Someone should probably do a study on it. But I say all that to say, do not date men that you would consider below your league, because you're doing yourself a huge disservice and you're doing him the biggest service, because people will see that you're with him and his value automatically goes up. Yours, on the other hand, they're questioning you. They're thinking, is she okay? Don't be that girl. Don't be me.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
This is the kind of woman you ask, and what do you bring to the table? And she answers by talking down about the man, calling him low-level, just because she's attractive. But that man had qualities she liked, qualities that allowed him to be with a woman like her. And that just opens the door for him to be with another woman just like her, or even more beautiful. Men don't change. They just can't keep giving princess treatment 24/7, especially to a materialistic woman. Not every wallet can handle that, not even a financially stable one. A man grows within the relationship. When things get serious, he's expected to step up, to start thinking about the future. But women like this, immature, never do. They just want to stay in the eternal boyfriend phase and never join the man's life project. They only know how to ask, but not how to give. They bring no real value to a man's life. That's why, in the end, he ends the relationship, and then you hear her saying he was low value. Meanwhile, he's happily married to a better woman, and she's still single and hitting the wall. Ironic, isn't it?
Men will blame everybody but themselves for the fact that they can't find a quality woman.
Well, let's just breeze by the fact that for a lot of men that actually have standards, there certainly is a lack of quality women out there.
Like they'll say, feminism has ruined dating. No, it hasn't.
Well, toxic feminism that actually is only about disparaging men certainly has.
If you can't reach the bar that women have set for themselves, just say that.
And if someone doesn't understand that a lot of men actually have standards that a lot of women out there simply can't reach, just say that.
Because the first step to doing better is admitting that you have a problem.
Ooh, I think I see the problem.
So if you admit that you have a problem and you better yourself and you become a good enough person that you can reach those standards that women have set for themselves, then you won't have a problem anymore.
Yeah, one of the main problems is that a lot of women require men to be over 6 foot tall, have a 6-figure income, and spoil them like little princesses when they don't actually deserve it. Yeah, that's one of the problems.
It's not feminism that ruined it, it's you.
It's always the men's fault, isn't it? Problem is, it takes two.
Exactly. It always ends up being our problem as men. We don't meet the standard of the infamous 666 of the apocalypse. A man who's 6 feet tall, with six-pack abs, and earns 6 figures a year. That hellish 666, just to be with an average woman who doesn't bring the same to the table. I can't help but laugh when so many women say that men want to date high-value women who are above them. But as far as I know, I haven't met a single woman who doesn't consider herself high value. Even the single mom with 2 kids from 2 different dads believes she's high value. Or the one with a good job but a 2 out of 10 in looks. She also thinks she's high value. And the truth is, many of them are just average, even if they refuse to admit it. But what do you think, brothers?
Men don't need more than 2 to 3 years of being in a relationship to know if they want to marry you. I think they know in less than 2 years if they want to marry you. That's why I think, just my opinion, that the dating period should be 2 to 3 years maximum. If you meet a man in your late 20s or later and you want marriage and you are not engaged after 2 to 3 years of being in a relationship with him, I think there is a good chance that he is never going to marry you and that he is going to end up wasting your time. I've seen this play out with people I know. Like, women will stay in relationships for 4 or 5 years, live with the man, and not have a ring. This doesn't really apply, though, if you met young. If you met young or in your early 20s, it makes sense to date longer. The timing is different. I'm specifically talking about more mature relationships where you meet in your late 20s or later.
Stop it. Get some help.
A woman who lives with a man for 5 years or more, especially if they have children, is practically already married to him. The only difference is her obsession with getting a ring, something she should start letting go of, because many men no longer want to sign that contract with the devil. A man knows within the first year if that woman is the one he wants for his life, and he knows it by the way she treats him. Many women complain that the man won't marry them, but they don't understand that not all of them have wife energy, and men can sense that. That's why sometimes they leave and go to another woman who does have that energy. They get married or live in a committed relationship with her because she's a woman who shows acts of service, who knows how to take care of her man. If all the men keep leaving you, maybe you should rethink this.
What happened to the guys that are like, let me come pick you up and let's go to dinner so I can get to know you, not let me come over so I can get to know your
Check your friend zone. The guy that you are looking for is in your friend zone because you thought that he wasn't toxic enough, he wasn't man enough, he was too pushy, he was too clingy, and you found that unattractive, so you put him in the friend zone. And let's not forget, the type of man that you're probably looking for is the one that you ghosted because he was actually showing interest in you and he wasn't, taking 3 days to text you back. He actually showed up being intentional, and you didn't like that either, so you ghosted him. And that's just for starters. Let's not forget that women have spent the last decade telling men that places like Cheesecake Factory weren't good enough. They've told them that coffee wasn't good enough. And even if a man shows up 110%, 99.9% of the time, y'all are going to assume that he wants only coochie anyway. If a man opens up the door on a date, then a lot of women will turn around and, ew, I can get the door myself. And let's not forget, if he's not 6 foot tall, he's automatically off the list. Women have a plethora of options and they're still never happy because they could have a man that checks off every single box that they're looking for, but guess what? They're going to ruin said date. At the end of the night, they're going to start complaining because they assume that every man that wants to go on a date with them only wants coochie anyway. So you end up ruining it and ghosting the good guy anyway. And my favorite is the guy that's going to take you out to dinner. You end up treating like crap because your ex comes in the picture and you try to play both sides of the fence, but y'all never want to have that kind of conversation. Not to mention, why would any man plan any kind of dates when there are women out here that have not paid for a meal in 3 months because they're going on dates for free meals? Why is any man going to subject himself to trying to find a good date or a good woman if the outcome is him getting dumped, even for trying and checking off all of the boxes that women are asking for, and it's still not good enough? Okay, bye.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Absolutely. A beer for this woman. Like I said once, if you ask a woman to describe the man she wants in her life, she'll paint you a Disney prince, a unicorn of a man. But when you look at the actual men who've been in her life, they're the complete opposite. They ask for one thing, but feel attracted to something else. Do you know how many women had the ideal man in their lives, and sent him to the friend zone? They rejected him for superficial things like his height, the way he talked, or how he dressed. Women chasing the infamous 666 of the apocalypse. A man who's 6 feet tall, with a six-pack, and earns 6 figures a year. The 666 from hell. That kind of man represents an extreme minority, barely 10% or less. And meanwhile, they were friend-zoning men who had real husband potential. By holding on to such high standards, many are now alone and hitting the wall because, brothers, the wall doesn't forgive.
I have shared my husband with 35 women in total the last 12 months. And I tell you, I'm obsessed. Everyone is going on saying, you guys aren't happy. You are not going to last in a marriage. This is ridiculous. Like, you guys aren't even married. Hello. Like, we get to not only enjoy the hell out of each other, but also my husband gets to enjoy so many other women. And so do I. Like, this is the best kind of marriage you could ask for. And the best part about all of this is it was my idea. It was literally my idea. Like, I said to my husband, I think this is what we should do. I think we should give it a try. And he just went along with it. He was like, okay, let's give it a go. And now it's just like secondhand to us.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Nowadays, all kinds of couples exist. As long as she doesn't mind, that man will keep enjoying himself. I just hope she doesn't get mad later if another woman steals her husband.
The feminine urge to develop a full-blown fantasy relationship and emotional attachment to a man based on 1% of real interactions and 99% delusions is so real for me. So real. I had a crush on this one guy for like 2 years. Like, I have this full-blown fantasy delusional type of relationship with him in my head. He flirted with me once. It was very clear flirtation, and I really thought he was going to ask me out, but he did not. It's not like he just doesn't like me. Like, he's completely indifferent to me. Like, indifference just really means they do not care at all. Like, it could not be more clear that he is not interested, but that just doesn't stop my delusions. At this point, he's just like a channel for my romantic energy because I don't like anybody else.
Here we have another woman who fell in love all on her own with a classic Chad. Most likely, he flirted with her once, and she went ahead and built an entire romantic movie in her head. And then she complains, saying, "Where are the thoughtful men? The ones who open doors, the romantics." But she's the one falling for the guy who ignores her, the one who shows no interest. Nothing makes sense with these women. And if you ask her what kind of man she wants, she'll tell you she's looking for the perfect guy, but she always falls for the Chad.
Women.
One thing that has helped my relationship with my husband so much and has kept it so healthy is that I stopped comparing my relationship to what I was seeing online. And I was so guilty of that. Like, I was constantly comparing him to another man that I was seeing online, or like my relationship in general to another relationship. And then I think over the years, it has sort of clicked and my mindset has shifted. And it is that no relationship, first of all, is perfect. Like, it's very obvious, but no one is going to share the bad stuff of the relationship. Literally, what you're seeing online is only the good stuff. I've had like close friends where on social media their relationship looks so perfect, and it's like the type of relationship where you're like, oh my god, like relationship goals, or like I want a man like that. But then behind closed doors, they'll tell me like, oh yeah, he doesn't pay for anything, or like he cheated on me, or I caught him texting other girls. Like, I think seeing that with your own eyes over so many years, I just stopped doing that. Stopped comparing my relationship to other people's relationships. Like, you even see it now on social media when girls break up with their boyfriend and like he was perfect. Like, he did everything. Like, they were relationship goals. They had a whole couples page, and then she'll go on live and expose him. You see that all the time, and that is because you don't know anything about that relationship. You literally do not know a single thing. You only know like a 15-second TikTok. So I don't compare my relationship anymore. I'm very happy with our relationship and how healthy it is. And if I see something online that I like, honestly, I just show it to him and I'm like, hey, can you do this for me? And he does it for me. That's problem solved.
Nowadays, what's destroying relationships the most are social media. From constant comparisons between couples to the nonstop validation women get addicted to. It makes having a healthy relationship nearly impossible today. The sad part is when you see women in a good relationship and they ruin it over nonsense, just because some so-called life coach told them their man is toxic. She fills their heads with ideas that make everything their man does seem negative. And you know what's the worst part? They leave a good man, go looking for another one thinking he'll have everything the first one lacked, and then realize the new guy is missing qualities their first husband actually had. Props to this woman for waking up in time.
I don't think that men can be allowed to be invited to things anymore because my husband will get invited to something and he'll be like, hey, babe, on Saturday, we're going to go to so-and-so's party at 4:30 p.m. And I'll be like, cool. Where is it? I don't know. Awesome. Who else is going? I don't know. Is it a birthday party? Is it just a fun party? I don't know. What do I wear? I don't know. He has zero details. Absolutely none. So I told him we're going to someone's party today. And I told him I'm like, get some details. So he calls me back. I'm at the nail salon. He calls me and he's like, oh, yeah, it's a birthday party. I'm like, cool. So like, how many people? Is it dinner? What's the deal? He's like, I don't know. I guess we'll just find out when we get there. Are you fucking kidding me?
Remember, feminine energy is chaos. Masculine energy is calm. A man doesn't stress over that kind of stuff. A woman does. That man will get dressed, go to the party, and be spontaneous with whatever happens there. He's open to the experience. Meanwhile, the woman is already planning everything down to her outfit. If she needs to bring gifts, what to wear, every little detail. All those small things that a man doesn't really care about. But that's part of the difference between feminine and masculine energy. And it's because of things like this that they complement each other so well.
My soon-to-be ex-husband just pulled up to my house in a brand new truck, and I'm not really sure if I'm sad about it or if I'm mad about it. There's a little bit of both happening there because a brand new truck really mattered more to this man than his marriage and his dog. Which, I mean, if he wants to be the loser that lives in an apartment with a brand new car, then by all means be my guest. All he's doing is showing me that he really was a financial burden on me and that I should not keep him around. One of the most consistent arguments we had was that he wanted a brand new $100,000 truck.
I think that most guys watching this will guarantee you that that man is so happy with his new truck. And he's probably not even thinking twice about what his ex-wife thinks about it. Because that's one of the biggest benefits of being single. You get to make all of your choices yourself. And my biggest piece of advice to that soon-to-be ex-wife is to let it go. Because pretty soon, you're not going to have any ties to that man.
The first thing you need to know is that he's going to be your future ex-husband. What that man is telling us is that he's already tired of you. Just seeing your reaction to his happiness makes it clear why he left you. The second thing is the comparison between what you bring to his life and what the truck brings him. Because aside from mobility, which is obvious, it gives him job opportunities, it's an asset that generates income. And if all the paperwork is in order, he could even join a company and make money with it. With you, on the other hand, it's just expenses, arguments, and complaints. And just like the vehicle, you also depreciate over the years, at least in terms of looks. So honestly, I think that man will be a loser happily enjoying his truck.
I literally hate when people are always like, oh my God, you need to date older. I have tried talking to older men, and a lot of these older men, they have commitment problems. Like genuinely cannot commit to you. Brother in Christ, you are literally one step closer to being in the coffin. Like do you know you have 30 minutes? These younger guys, not only are they more intentional with who they date, but they love on you much harder. They show up for you more. Their energy is just so uplifting and positive. And a lot of people think that a lot of these younger guys are so immature. They don't know what they want. But have you seen the older population? Have you seen men over the age of 35? Like, have you tried interacting with them? Not only are they so damn stubborn and stuck in their old ways, but they're just filled with so much old energy. It just doesn't match mine. And I understand that everyone has their own personal experience. You know, some people have better experiences with older guys than they do younger guys. I will stick to being a cougar because there is nothing better than having a young guy that like loves on you hard. Okay, I don't know.
There's a phrase women in their 30s who've already hit the wall love to use when they see men dating younger women. It's just that you can't afford someone your age. Apparently, this woman can't either. I'm not going to tell any young man not to date an older woman. I did it myself once in the past. Let me tell you, you learn a few tricks with them. But it never even crossed my mind to commit to a woman who was even a year older than me. It was just for fun. And I'm sure the men she's dating see her the same way. Because those men will also, one day, turn 35, and you'll be even older. Of course they're going to leave you. They'll want a younger woman to have children with. That, brothers, is almost a law of life.
Women.
Be honest with me. Have you thought about just calling it quits?
No.
Really? I respect that. That's love.
I also couldn't make it on my own either. Because I don't make enough to support me and my daughter.
But that shouldn't be what's keeping you there, if it is.
It's not, but even if that was an option, I don't have a way to support myself. I don't make enough by myself. But
something tells me the fact that you immediately said that second answer that it's a bit more real.
It's crazy to me how there's so many people who are feeling sorry for this woman in the situation. And yet the man is sitting right there, and this is probably his worst fear. It's obvious. She's most likely only staying with him because he's financially supporting her and the daughter. It's crazy to me how the whole point of us going to work and having jobs and having choices was so that we could make choices with our dating life and we could be in love with the person we're with, and yet we still see women using men financially. If she chose to not pursue a career, if she chose to not make money, she is not the victim here. The man is being used. This is why so many men do not want to be a financial provider these days. And this is why so many men don't want to be in relationships where they're the financial provider, and it's perfectly valid. Because he never truly knows if you're with him because you love and enjoy being around him, or if it's only for the benefits that his paycheck brings. And yet I see so many videos of women saying, oh, all he brings is a paycheck. Like, it's not worth anything. Those are hours of his life that he cannot get back. He may work most people work jobs that they really don't like, that are brutal. They may have a boss they don't enjoy working for. They may not like the job itself. And for a lot of men, the happiness in their life is that woman they come home to. They genuinely believe loves him for who he is and not for what he provides. This is proving over and over to not be the case. And I can't even fathom how hard it would be to be a man and to only be loved for your utility.
God damn it! You can't make this shit up!
Damn, this woman dropped some truths, but in a brutal way, right in her husband's face. While he's crying, she admits that the only reason she hasn't left is because he provides for her financially. And that, as a man, hurts. Because a lot of men are stuck in the worst jobs out there, destroying themselves physically and mentally just to put food on the table. Then you see how that same woman says you never contributed anything to her life, that she was only with you for the money, or she spends years draining your resources just to tear you down in a divorce, where the system almost always favors her. Sure, some people might feel sorry for her, but that woman's not missing a hand. She can work, pick up a book, learn a skill. These days, there are even jobs that offer free training. It's not a lack of opportunity, it's a lack of will. What she really is ungrateful to her husband. She likes being provided for, and she's one of those who claims that everything she does at home is worth just as much as the money he puts on the table. And the worst part? The show is about finances, about how money matters, and she's the first one to waste her husband's money. But of course, she's the victim. You just can't believe this crap.
So I'm nervous. If you know me, you know that I've been dating a younger guy, like 22 years younger. And we've been dating for almost 2 years, and we're super happy together and living together. But this is the first time that I am going to meet his friends. So I haven't met any of his friends because they live in New York, because he's from New York and we're in Texas, or his family. So this will be a first, and I'm super nervous. So I need your help. Like, I don't know what to wear. Like, Like, what do you wear? You know, like, should I be like, you know, kind of sexy and show off, or would that come across like a weird, you know, cougar vibe, which I'm not? Or should I be like super conservative? I don't want to look too old, but I want to look hip. You know, I don't want to look too like I'm trying too hard to look young. I mean, like, okay, like business sexy, like, you know, little jacket, not much underneath, and ooh, it's kind of short at the back. Okay, next one. Cute pants, little crop top, but does this look like, you know, like I'm trying to be too young, and like, is it too much? Okay, last one. I think this one is the most conservative, probably. Cute leather pants, though. Looks great from the back. It's kind of a conservative little leather top. And if I put some bling up here, maybe it'll bring it out. What do you think? Oh, what should I do?
Oh, hell no!
She's wearing a jacket of dignity and pants full of shame. You're over 20 years older than that young guy, and no matter what you wear, it's obvious you're his sugar mom. There won't be a single person in that place who doesn't notice. This is just a woman who's hit the wall, lost, and still hasn't grown up. Let that young man drain her down to the last penny, and when he starts dating women younger than her, which won't be hard since she's got 2 decades on them, you'll see how she turns into a jealous control freak. And I bet the first thought that'll cross that guy's mind will be, I need to get away from this crazy woman.
3 things I wish I knew before dating a younger man. 1, the age gap isn't going to be quite as much of an issue as you might initially think it is. Because I think that as I've gotten older, I've realized that it's really more about life experience than it is about numbers. 2, there are some instances where the age gap is going to come into play. Like, for instance, me being in the stage that I'm in versus the gentleman that I was seeing, there's an 8-year difference. There's a lot of things in my life that I've already done that he necessarily hasn't come across yet. And so sometimes there's some fundamental differences on what I'm like, yeah, I don't do that anymore. Like, I keep a normal sleep schedule. Like, I'm very disciplined in that, you know, and he's in a younger life. It's not really a thing for him yet. 3, children. I already have children. I have 3 children of my own. He didn't have any children of his, and that was a conversation that we had. And when you date someone younger, you have to consider the fact that the conversation of children may very well come up, and they may decide that they want to have kids. So I feel like it's good to be on the same page in that regard before you do think about dating someone who's younger than you who also doesn't have children.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
It's true that there are some pretty desperate simps out there. Getting involved with a woman who's 8 years older than you and already has 3 kids, while you don't even have one yourself. Come on, man, was there really nothing better out there? That's not love, that's a lack of options. I can just picture the father of those 3 kids showing up to pick them up and seeing some young guy playing stepdad. He's probably laughing at the poor fool. Don't get me wrong, anyone can be with whoever they want, but not with someone who's nearly a decade older, has a whole life already built, 3 kids, and you haven't even started yours yet. Just imagine being that young man's father. All the alarms would go off. And if I were the mother, same thing. But anyway, what do you all think, brothers?
Okay, so I've got a question for the girls, but also maybe kind of the guys as well. So I I think I'm gonna start dating again next year, like properly, and actually take it seriously, and actually maybe want to meet someone instead of just a little bit of entertainment. I've only dated younger guys for the past 6 years, and one of my friends, I think she's got a point, but she was telling me that this was my problem. She's like, you actually know that's like, I think a few of my friends have been like, the problem is you always go for younger guys. And I'm like, there is a reason why I go for younger guys. Because first of all, they're more available. A lot of the good guys my age, the eligible men are no longer eligible because they're taken. And they're also like, the younger guys are hot. There's this whole thing about like how women get worse with age and that men age like fine wine. I don't really know if I agree with that. Because the men that I'm seeing in their 30s, not all of them, obviously, but the women are certainly certainly outdoing the men in this whole category. So I don't know what to do. Is it worth, in your humble opinion, entertaining anyone younger than me? Or do I just give it up? Because I hear horror stories and I hear good things, and I just want to know what people think. Like, some people are so fiercely, younger guys are amazing, younger guys are this, younger guys are that, and some people are just like, you're wasting your time, a younger guy will never respect you properly. Or the thing is, like, a younger guy will always leave you for a younger woman, that kind of thing. Like, you're always going to be the older woman to him. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that anymore, but I also don't know if I can deal with guys that are older than me, because I just don't think they take as good care of themselves.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
But when they were at the stage where it was time to grow up, look at the choices they made. And then they get upset when a man simply tells them the truth. That was your choice. It's because of things like this that responsibility is kryptonite for women. Even their own friends notice they don't have a serious relationship because they only go out with men who want one thing: intimacy, not something real. And on top of that, they repeat lines like, "Men don't age like wine," which is false. A man who takes care of himself physically and mentally can age very well. That's why, brothers, the theory that by 2030, 45% of women over 30 will be single is making more and more sense every day.
Riding in, I think I'm feeling it now.
Maybe I feel this way because I have not been on a lot of dates, or I just don't date a lot, or I don't go on a lot of dates. Because it just feels so unnatural and so contrived. It doesn't feel authentic. It feels so forced. It feels like I'm just sitting across from someone and I'm getting to know them, and it's like a job interview, low key. And it's super awkward. And don't even get me started on the context of meeting up with someone you've never met before. That is just freaking not normal and so weird. You just see some photos, you see some writing about someone, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna choose to go and meet them. I don't know anything about them, and I'm gonna sit and talk to them. I have no context of anything about them. At least if you met someone in the wild, you know, if you guys vibe together, if you get along, you have similar personalities, it makes more sense if you just meet up and maybe go on a date because it's more like chill and cash. It feels more natural that way, but to meet up with someone you don't know jack shit about and you know nothing about them, they're a complete stranger, and then you're just like one-on-one, it's so intense and does not feel natural. It actually sounds like my worst nightmare, and it gives me so much anxiety. And I've done it before, and I've been lucky, but it's not ideal. It's not natural as human beings to do that. We need to be in certain situations where we meet people and it's more chill. It just feels so intense to meet up in a one-on-one interaction with someone you've never met before.
Stop it. Get some help.
If you pay attention to what she says, this woman doesn't really seem to be looking for a real relationship. I say that because she mentions feeling sad about not going on many dates. In short, she's complaining about not going out much to eat for free. And let's be honest, someone who wants a lot of dates isn't looking for a partner. They're looking for entertainment, validation, or some kind of benefit. She also says she's had luck with dating apps. And I have to ask, what does she mean by luck? That she hooked up with a guy she just met? That she got a free dinner? Because if we're talking about finding a real partner, it's clear that didn't happen. So what exactly does getting lucky on a date mean to her? That's a question I'll leave for you all.
I went on a first date the other day and it didn't end well, and I felt like I needed to share the story. Everything was going right. It was going fantastic. We were going to all these places, having a right laugh. I get 5 Guinnesses deep and then he offers me a snooze, a snood, this weird nicotine pouch that you dissolve in your mouth. When you're first meeting someone, you shouldn't probably just take things from them and just put them in your mouth. That is not a good tip. But I was like, I'm hard as nails. I'll take one. Fucking idiot. I dissolve it in my mouth. He's like, it only lasts 10 minutes. Not even that. Well, it is dissolving. And I'm like, I don't even feel it. 5 seconds later, bitch, I feel it. I feel like I've been transported to another fucking world. It hits me like a ton of bricks. He's like, are you okay? And the reason why he's asking me this is because I look like this.
because I am terrified of what's happening to me. Yeah, no, I'm fine. But I can feel it. I can feel it happening. And I'm swallowing my own spit. I'm like, don't do it, Jess. It's the first date. Don't do it. Then I do it. I throw up in my fucking hands. I'm like, bleh. And I'd like to think he didn't see it. But of course he fucking saw it. He's like, run. So I run to the bathroom. Get to the bathroom. There is the general manager of the place, a worker, and like a repairman. Oh, darling, you can't be in here. Someone's clogged the sink. There's water everywhere. I'm holding my own sick, like, please, can't speak, because if I do, I will throw up all over the fucking floor. So they're like, go into the stall, run into the stall. I throw up everywhere. I managed to get it mainly in the toilet, but also like there was some on the floor. One of the workers was like, oh, I'll clean that up. And I'm like, no. No, you are not. You don't get paid enough to do that. Second of all, it's my mess. I'll clean it up. So I get all the stuff. I'm cleaning up my own sick. Hands and knees on the floor. I tell them I'm on my first date. They're like, oof. That's harsh, throwing up on your first date. I'm like, yeah. He gave me a snooze thing. They were like, oh, yeah, we've all been there. So I'm feeling a bit better because at one point I thought the bouncer was going to kick me out or something, but it was fine. I'm cleaning up my sick and the worker turns around to me and goes, are you Jess? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, I love your videos. I'm mortified. I'm absolutely mortified that one of the people that watch my videos has seen me throw up on the floor and are watching me clean up my own sick. I think I went to her, I was like, don't you fucking tell anyone about this. Oh well, I'm telling everyone now. So yeah, like he hasn't rung me back. So yeah, it went really well.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Modern women, brothers. The same one who tomorrow wants to become someone's wife is the one who, on a first date, gets intoxicated with whatever a stranger gives her. Beyond how disgusting it is that she ends up vomiting, there's the fact that she's under the influence of some substance, with a complete stranger who could have done anything to her. But women like this, when they go out with a Chad, a guy who brings nothing to the table, they don't think about consequences. They're willing to do anything for that kind of man. I'm sure that after that disaster, something else happened. That Chad got what he wanted, to get her intoxicated. Because before that, the date was going well. There was attraction. And we all know how some women act when they're intoxicated. So, brothers, draw your own conclusions.
I waited an hour for this man. An hour! I should have left at the 30-minute mark because he did tell me he was running late. And he had called the hostess to like let her know that he was running late. I was running 10 minutes late. And so, yeah, we were just both late. So I get to the restaurant. Hostess tells me like, oh, he just called me. Like, he said he's on his way. Da 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 da. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm gonna just sit down. And then as I'm sitting down, he texts me like, hey, sorry, I'm on the way. Cool. I'm like, his place is 20-ish minutes away, maybe because of night construction. 30 minutes? Cool. 30-minute mark hits. I have not heard from this boy. He's not here. He's nowhere to be seen. And I felt really awkward because I was just sitting there. So I ordered a mocktail. My mocktail came out and I was like, okay, like, let me drink this. But also I was researching stuff for this thing that I want to do. And I just got lost in that. And by the time I look up, another 30 minutes have passed. And I'm just like, okay, dude, what the fuck? So I text him. I'm like, hey, it's been an hour. I think we need to call it. Don't hear anything from him. I'm like, okay, great. I'm going to finish this drink, call my server and dip because what the fuck? So I dip or I ask for the check and she's like, oh my God, like, yeah, let me get that for you. She comes back and she's like, hey, this is completely covered. Don't worry about it. And we will give you your next drink free and a free meal. And I was like, no, I'm good. Thank you so much. Like, I'm ready to bounce because it's a fucking Thursday night. I have better shit to be doing. So I get to the front and the hostess sees me with another girl and she's just like, oh my God, what happened? Like, where is he?
And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I haven't heard from him. And then she was like, please, like, sit at the bar at least and, like, let's get you a plate of food. I was like, no, like, I'm just ready to go. If he walks in, tell him I walked the fuck out. And she was like, yes, you are too hot for this shit. And I was like, absolutely. Cause yeah, when she sees him, she gonna call him a Dusty. Anyways, that's how my night's been going.
I find it funny that the dusty guy paid for the table, including her cocktail. Meanwhile, she sat there for an hour without even ordering herself something to eat with her own money. Sure, it was a date. The guy was wrong for standing her up like that, but he wasn't Dusty. You know what, brothers? She could have avoided that whole experience if she had accepted a coffee date instead. In 15 minutes, she would have figured it out and walked away without a problem. If someone leaves a casual date like that, nothing weird happens. It's normal. But sitting for over an hour in a fancy restaurant without even a drink? That's just sad. Everyone notices you got stood up, or worse, they see you as some street girl, just waiting for someone to offer her a drink. Coffee dates don't come with that problem.
What's your age?
I'm 26.
I'm 30. How long have you been together?
4.5 years.
If your man gave you a guilt-free pass to have fun with any guy in the world, would you take it?
No.
Why not?
I don't think that you can come back from that. I just don't think so. Whether it's today, tomorrow, a year from now, or 10 years from now, I feel like it would affect their relationship a lot.
So if he knew that while you were with him, you were with another man, you don't think he could handle that?
No, I don't think so. And I don't think he should have to handle that. Would you handle that?
100% not. But be honest with me.
Yes.
You're saying he couldn't handle that.
Yes.
What if you found out that he cheated on you? No. Would you still stay or would you get up and go?
I would leave. 100%. I would walk away. And I want her
to leave as well.
Yeah.
Because something we don't do is we don't respect infidelity. So do you guys think that men can cheat on women that they love, or that's just a myth?
100% not. Imagine cheating on a person that you say that you love and then going back home to that person sleeping next to them.
That's betrayal.
That's betrayal. That's supposed to be the closest person to you. You know how fake a human being has to be in order to do that? That's what 95% of men are right now in this living age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're seeing here is a woman with values, someone grounded. Cheating is cheating, no matter how you try to frame it. Because in the end, that never leaves your mind, knowing that she cheated on you. And even if time goes by, of course it'll still hurt. This man has a truly intelligent woman by his side, and he's smart too, because he wouldn't accept that from any woman, just like it should be. Women like her are hard to find these days.
I'm 30 and single, and I don't have kids yet, and I share a lot of content on social media talking about what my life looks like as a girl who is 30, single, and doesn't have kids. Here is what my morning looked like this morning on a Thursday. I have not been feeling well. I just went on a trip, so I feel like I'm feeling a little under the weather, so I snoozed my alarm until 8 a.m. I got out of bed, I went and did my morning meditation, I got ready for work, and then I am now waiting for my toast to toast because I am making myself some avocado toast and a latte at 9 a.m. And a lot of people on the internet seem to think that I'm selfish for living my life this way. And I just don't get it. Some people seem to think that if women don't follow traditional values, they are somehow selfish. Isn't the point of life to evolve and grow and change? And women are now showing people that you can live life in different ways and find fulfillment and joy in other ways. At this point in my life, I enjoy my mornings meditating, going on walks, having a slow morning. I am not quite ready to devote my mornings to a child. So wouldn't it be selfish of me to have a child when I am not ready to give up my freedom and my fulfillment and my joy in the mornings? Also, I want to note, it's really hard to find a partner that you want to have a child with, let alone go on a couple dates with. So right now, at this point in my life, I am seeking fulfillment and finding myself right where I'm at. So the internet can call me selfish, but I call myself at peace.
The life of a woman on the wall, single and childless, is like being lonelier than the sun at noon on a cloudless day. You know why people tell you that? Because they don't believe you. You pretend to be happy, but you're not. Also, why is it that whenever a woman talks about having kids, she frames it like she'd be giving up her freedom? Do you know how many women today find purpose in life thanks to their children? And saying, I don't want kids right now makes no sense if you don't even have a man. So, how exactly were you planning to make that happen? Women like that are the ones who, over time, end up regretting it. Because, brothers, the wall doesn't forgive.
Okay, so I was in a toxic relationship and I knew it was toxic, but I didn't know it would turn like scary until this one night. Story time. So my boyfriend lived in the middle of nowhere, Canada, in a cabin in like the woods, which should have been my first red flag, but it wasn't. So I was staying with him in May, and one night he wanted to go to bed and I wanted to stay on the couch and watch TV. So he goes to his room, and then like 20 minutes later, I hear him yelling and throwing things around in his room. And I was like, oh my God, what's wrong? When I saw him, it was the weirdest look in his eyes. It was like my boyfriend was gone and he was possessed by this angry monster guy. He was like, why don't you want to come to bed with me? Why don't you care about me? You're so cold. You're so cold all the time. You don't even love me. And I was like, what? Like, I really had no idea what I had done that triggered this, because I did have anger issues and he would get mad at me a lot, but usually I could like figure out why he was mad. And this time I was shocked. So I was like, I don't know. What's wrong though? And he picks up my suitcase and he throws it across the room and he's like, it's just you. You're so cold. You're going to move to LA and never talk to me again. So it was around 1 a.m. at this point, and he was picking up my suitcase and pushing it around the room and saying that he wanted to take me to the airport and drop me off there because I was going to leave him anyway. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's totally fine. Please take me to the airport. And at that point, I knew being in like a public place was safer than being alone in this cabin with him. So I picked up whatever I saw, like that I could find of my clothes that he had thrown, put them in my suitcase, and then I let him put me in his car. And then he starts, oh my God, it was the middle of the night and he couldn't see anything on the road, and he was speeding and swerving around in the lanes and playing like the weirdest sad music and crying and yelling while he was driving. So at this point, I didn't know if I was going to make it. Like, I didn't know what he wanted to do in the car, like, because he was acting so irrational. So I decided to text my roommate, and I told her his car info and like the license plate and where I was. And I grabbed the handle and I was like, I guess I looked too scared, and he saw me texting my roommate and he was like, oh my God, you're telling your friends that I'm abusive, aren't you? Like, you're going to tell them I'm abusive. And I was like, no, I'm not. I promise I won't tell anyone. I won't tell my family. I won't tell anyone. And then he does a huge U-turn. He does a U-turn in the middle of the road, and he takes me back to his house and he told me to get in his room and like stay in his bed. That way I couldn't tell my family that he left me at the airport or something. And that was the most terrifying night of mine. I literally stared at the ceiling the entire time because I heard him pacing outside of his door. And I locked it, but I didn't know if he was going to come in at any moment and what he was going to do to me. This might be TMI, but I had to pee really bad, and I couldn't use the bathroom though because he was outside of his door and I was scared of him. So I held it all night long and I didn't sleep. And then in the morning I had a UTI, and he had to take me to the doctor, and he said he loved me enough to make sure that my health was okay, even though I was so cold to him. So yeah.
This woman, on her profile, has hundreds of stories that, realistically, she'd need more than one lifetime to live through. But let's assume it's all true, though I seriously doubt it. When exactly did all of that happen? From the fight, to the airport, and then back home? Then she comes back saying it was all just because she was cold. Come on, make it make sense. And let's be honest, you don't just go off to a cabin with a man you barely know, just like that. Before a man takes you somewhere or you decide to go with him, ask yourself, is your attitude even right? Honestly, this sounds more like a made-up story than a real experience.
Women.
You need to understand that as a woman, you possess the power to get absolutely anything and everything that you want under this sun. It's not what you say. It's how you say it. It's the way you say the things you say. Your energy reads far more than words ever will. Now, let me give you a little example. Back when Kris Jenner was starting out in the 90s, this man was talking about when he first met her, she had this power, this energy to her, but she was sweet and sassy. She was focused but calm. She knew exactly what she wanted and she knew exactly how to get it. Kris Jenner had the nickname the Velvet Hammer. Think about that. She took her family from zero to billionaires. Only a woman that knows her way with words and knows her way with people did that. When you hear her in interviews, she has this way the way she talks to people, her energy, her aura, her charisma. That is what got her from 0 to 100. That is what took her family to becoming one of the most powerful families ever in history. Think about it. You have the power to do exactly the same.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Here we have yet another attempt to sell the fantasy that all women can get whatever they want just with their energy. But the reality is different. Kris Jenner didn't lead her family to success with aura and charisma. She did it through a sex scandal and by exploiting her daughter's image. This narrative is dangerous because it sells the idea that real effort isn't necessary, just manipulation and knowing how to talk. But if that were true, every woman repeating this mantra would be a millionaire. The truth is, very few actually make it. And those who do usually use the same strategies they later criticize in men. They want power without responsibility, success without sacrifice, and respect without merit. But the real world doesn't work that way.
You can tell if a woman is truly in her feminine energy based on the way that she is dressed. Hi, I'm Alexis. I'm a feminine energy and inner work coach. And a lot of the women that I work with, their style begins to change over time. They start dressing in a way that's more classy. It's because of this one thing. The more you are in your feminine energy, the more you view your body as being sacred, meaning you do not dress in a way that's super revealing or provocative. For these two reasons. Number one, your energy is so precious to you that you do not give it away easily. When other people look and see these parts of you, they are absorbing your energy. You do not reveal that for everyone to see. And number two, you no longer seek validation outside of yourself. You're so content and fulfilled, you get that validation from within. When you're in your feminine energy, you dress in a way that protects your energy and truly represents your soul, represents who you are as a woman with your unique style.
I completely agree with her. A woman should take care of herself and not give herself to just any Chad. She says that when a woman truly values her feminine energy, she stops dressing provocatively because she no longer seeks external validation. Exactly. So why do so many claim they dress that way for themselves? The truth is, many use provocative clothing as a magnet for attention, but then complain that men only see them as objects. If they really protected their energy as they say, they would be more selective about who gets access to them instead of seeking validation and then crying when Chad has his fun and leaves. So yes, they should dress more elegantly, value themselves, and not give their energy away to just anyone. On that, we agree.
Let's talk about how to become feminine. To start unlocking your feminine energy, you need to get out of a survival mindset. For a lot of my girlies who are working, a lot of you guys have mostly masculine energy. Masculine energy is all about controlling the situation and working really hard. Feminine energy is all about trusting and receiving. Basically, to truly be in your feminine energy, you need to feel taken care of and secure. No matter what situation you are in life, a few ways to get into your feminine energy and start feeling secure is to number one, make sure you always rest. Get good sleep and nourish your body. Number two is self-care. You need to feel like you are being pampered and spoiled. Do hair treatments at home. Get massages from your partner. Take baths, light candles, lounge around your house all day drinking tea. Get into the habit of having a soft life. Another hack is when you pay your bills or buy anything, pretend that somebody else is doing it for you. And just imagine that you are just a spoiled princess who gets taken care of all the time. Now practice being taken care of and receiving. When you go out or when you're with people, start asking people to do things for you. Ask them if they can pass you things. Ask them if they can get you a drink. If you're walking with a group of people, stand by the door and wait for them to open the door. When you're out with men, just sit there and allow them to offer you things and stare them in the eye and sit pretty until they do. Or again, practice asking and allowing them to give. Present problems to the people that you're with, and if they have masculine energy, they will solve it. You can tell if a woman has masculine energy if you're with a friend and you present a problem and she goes right away to solve it. You are seriously not meant to lift a finger. You're here for your energy, your calmness, your emotional intelligence, and your nurturing nature. There's so much more to talk about on this topic, so comment for a part 2.
When women talk about masculinity and femininity, it all comes down to one thing: receiving. You're masculine only if you give. She's feminine only if she receives. Look at the list. Feminine energy is being taken care of, being pampered, relaxing, getting massages, not lifting a finger, and expecting men to handle everything. Basically, living like a princess with no responsibilities. But of course, if a man said that his masculine energy means women should take care of him, cook for him, and make his life easier, he'd be crucified on social media. This narrative is just the modern version of "give me everything, and I'll reward you with my presence." There's not a single mention of what she brings to the table, just instructions on how to train men to serve her. And the best part? They disguise it as energy and feminine nature, when, in reality, it's just pure convenience.
As a woman who likes to stay in her feminine energy because it's really powerful, one of the things that I'm not willing to do is argue with anyone. If I tell you something, if I ask you something, if I express something to you and there's resistance, and I've given you time, I've been patient, I've allowed you your time and your space, and you are still not giving me what I asked you for, I am not going to beg you. I'm not going to argue with you. I am going to release you, because holding on to that friction is taking me out of alignment. As a woman who prioritizes her femininity, I have to know that when something isn't good for me, when I'm banging on the door and someone's not letting me in, I have to go. There's no point in me giving this my energy. So we have to know when we're creating too much force, that's our job. So you have to prioritize your femininity by saying, you know what? There hasn't been flow.
Stop it. Get some help.
Here we have another one confusing feminine energy, with doing the bare minimum and expecting the man to do everything. Basically, if you don't give her what she wants without resistance, she simply lets you go. But if a man did the same and said, "If a woman doesn't give me what I ask for, I leave," he'd be labeled a narcissist. What she's really saying is, if you don't please me, I'll go find someone who will. It's not about energy, it's about convenience. But remember, brothers, for a woman to be treated like a princess, she first has to qualify for the king. Drizzle, drizzle.
If no one ever taught you how to make men and people worship you like you are a literal goddess, when I say this literally works, this girl texted me saying that a man handed her $100 bill simply just for existing. And when I did this, I saw results instantly. As soon as I walked into Starbucks, everyone looked at me and the lady ended up giving me my order for free. And then when I was basically just doing my work, a guy came over and was like, "Sorry, I'm not trying to hit on you. I just want to make friends and your energy is so good," and bought me a Starbucks drink. Never opened my own doors. People are always saying that they're literally obsessed with my energy. Guys are always saying that they want to date me. They want to be exclusive with me right away. What we are using is the Princess Treatment Formula Guide. This will basically walk you through step by step how to instantly activate your feminine energy in the moment, tell you exactly how to act in situations, tell you exactly what to say with scripts to get princess treatment, to get everybody to be obsessed with you. Gives you the exact affirmations to repeat into your head. It is so good. It works literally instantly when you use it, and you can get instant access to it in my profile link. So the first step in activating your feminine energy is obviously looking feminine. An easy way to do that is to wear skirts or dresses all the time. And in the formula, it actually gave me literal examples, Pinterest boards of exactly what to wear to be extremely feminine, classy, because this works best if you just look very classy and you're embracing your natural beauty. The second thing is when you walk into a room, you cannot be putting your energy outward. That will make you demagnetize. So instead of going into a room and being like, "Oh, I hope people like me. Oh, I hope he really likes me. I hope he gives me princess treatment. I hope he asks me out." You want to walk into a room with all of your energy on you, thinking about how obsessed you are with yourself, thinking about how amazing your life is, thinking about how beautiful you look. You want to envision yourself as literal royalty, because people give princess treatment to people who are special, people who are royal. I kid you not, in the formula, it tells you exactly how to see yourself as somebody who is royalty, somebody who is feminine, classy, elegant, and gives you literally exact affirmations to be thinking in the moment to always feel like you are feminine royalty, like you are just that freaking girl. The next thing is your self-talk. Whatever you are thinking about yourself in the moment is exactly what people are going to think about you, because your energy speaks and the way that you think causes you to act differently. Next, the way you act says so much about you. If you want princess treatment and you want people to literally be magnetized hypnotized by you. They need to see that you are in your feminine energy by the way that you act. So the formula literally says exactly how to act when you go to restaurants, when you go on dates, like in exact situation. This is key because when people look at you, they will assume that you are used to getting princess treatment. You are used to being treated like a feminine goddess. So people will start literally treating you like you've always been spoiled, opening doors for you, paying for you, giving you free things, just doing things for you. And lastly, you want to speak in your feminine energy. You never want to control the situation with what you're saying. Women who are in their feminine energy always talk about what they would like, what would please them, and that basically tells other people what to do. So the formula literally gave me word for word scripts on exactly what to say to get whatever I want, make him buy me flowers, make him open the door for me, always make him pay the bill, and just how to make other people please you 24/7. And if your man is doing something that you don't like, it tells you exactly how to make him start pleasing you again and giving you princess treatment. The best part is you can use this anywhere at any time to instantly activate your feminine energy. And if you grab the princess treatment formula, you can just literally download it to your phone. You get it for life, and then you can use it whenever you go on a date, before you go to work, before you're about to go out in public, and it literally instantly activates your feminine energy, makes you radiate, makes you so magnetic in the moment, no matter what you're doing or who you're with. And you can get instant access to it in the first part of my profile. Love you.
This is pure, unfiltered narcissism. There's no love here, no partnership, no reciprocity, just a manual on how to manipulate men into paying without giving anything in return. The goal is basically to train women to act like royalty without having done a single thing to deserve it. The irony? High-value men see this coming from miles away. They know that a woman who talks about feminine energy and princess treatment isn't looking for love, she's looking for a wallet. And since these men are smart, they play the game better than the women do. They entertain them, enjoy them, let them believe they're winning, and then leave. Because a woman whose only appeal is taking without giving isn't a partner, she's a burden. The result? These same women, in a few years, will be complaining that men don't want to commit, or that all the good men are gone. No, the truth is that good men avoid gold diggers. And high-value men, they simply use them and discard them, because that's all they're good for.
If you match with a guy on a dating app and he does any of these three things before you meet him, red flags, honey, and don't say I didn't tell you. Okay, number one is asking for your Instagram and not your phone number. I understand that sometimes people want to screen you through social media and make sure you're normal, but let's be real. If someone is serious about meeting up with you, they're going to get your phone number and they're going to lock down a date. They're not going to try to add an extra buffer in between you and them, which in this case would be social media. So if they're asking for your Instagram, honestly, red flag. Number two, if they're facilitating a date, but it's a group situation. Listen, I understand some people are into this. I kind of feel like someone who wants to impress you is going to want your undivided attention. And group dynamics where you just roll by are usually very casual, and they set the tone for just that, a casual relationship. And red flag number three, casual, loose plans made usually the day of or the night before. If someone respects you and values your time, they're going to want to make sure you are penciling them in advance. Okay, it's going to be a formal thing. Follow for more.
Stop it. Get some help.
Everything is a red flag when it's the simp inviting her. But if it's Chad with the apocalypse 666 to 6 feet tall, 6 figures in the bank, and a six-pack abs, the 666 from hell, suddenly, they don't see any red flags. Look at the logic. Asking for Instagram is a red flag, but if an attractive guy asks, it's exciting. Planning a group date means lack of interest, but if it's with the right guy, it's fun and spontaneous. Last-minute plans are disrespectful, but if it's a high-status man, it's mysterious and thrilling. It's not about standards, it's about who meets them. And then they wonder why men stop taking these rules seriously.
Two of the biggest red flags you will ever see in a man. One, if a guy says, I don't don't see age. Age is just a number whenever it comes to dating, whenever it comes to dating women. Like, you better see age or you're gonna wind up with criminal charges. You know what I mean? That's weird. You do see age, or will you also, as like a 30-year-old guy, date a 60-year-old woman? As a 70-year-old guy, are you dating other 70-year-old women? Okay, if not, you see age. Notice how they only say this to justify a really extreme, weird age gap. Red flag number 2, pretty similar. Whenever a guy says, she's just mature for her age. No, you never grew up. You're creepy. I remember one time I was doing a musical. I was in a musical and I was 26 and there were like 20-year-olds around and I felt so much more mature than them, so much older. Not one time was I like, this person's mature for their age. Even if in that scenario, someone's mature for their age, you still know it's weird that if you're like a 35-year-old guy with a 20-year-old, again, the maturity, they're fresh out of high school. You're a grown adult pushing 40. Men dating women, young women bordering on being girls that could be their granddaughters, that could be their daughters, that is weird. And these are just ways they try to convince you that it's not weird.
Here's the truth they don't want to accept. Men don't say age is just a number to date 60-year-old grandmothers. They say it because they can and prefer to date younger women. And that hurts them. The problem isn't morality, it's competition. Or maybe men are dating younger women, and you, now past 30, are watching your options shrink. You don't want men your age going after women in their 20s because it leaves you with fewer choices. Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. They get outraged. But not when a 30-plus woman rejects a man her age for not being successful enough. It's only a problem when the market stops favoring them.
Oh my word, are you going to know about it if you get into a relationship with an insecure man? They have such fragile egos that they lose all sense of humour. They will pick fights. They are easily offended. You just find yourself in arguments that you are like, how did we get here? They will exaggerate the truth or just tell blatant lies. Anything that's going to increase their sense of status or self because they're uncomfortable with who they are. He will be more interested in himself, how he looks, how he's perceived. He will be more critical and judgmental of others, other men, other women. He'll need much more reassurance and validation than a confident, self-secure man. And when he doesn't get that reassurance or validation from you, he will look elsewhere to get it. He can be a little overbearing and possessive, not in a abusive way, but kind of a way that makes you feel like, oh, like I need space, like I need freedom. They can be jealous much more than the average guy, and needer. Like, he'll just want you there for the sake of having you there. Like, he'll just, to make him feel secure, you bring him a sense of comfort that he can't get by himself. He is likely to have trust issues from past relationships that he has not healed and brings all that baggage into your relationship for you to deal with. I'm not saying these men are bad men. They're not bad men. And we all have insecurities. Like, we all will go through our own. But heal yourself. Like, it's not up to your partner to heal you. Like, they can't do that. And insecure men in general just tend to not work on themselves or to face problems head on. Like, they prefer to just kind of like distract themselves, to mask it, to suppress it. And that's the only reason why I say just avoid. Unless this man's going to actually work on himself for you, he should really be doing it for himself. But if he's going to work on himself, then I'll wave the amber flag. But in general, it's a red flag for insecure men.
Brothers, what kind of men are these women dating? They're always talking about insecure, narcissistic, lying, controlling guys, but they never stop to ask themselves why they keep attracting the same type over and over again. Here's the truth. They chase men with status and charisma, then complain that those same men are self-centered and crave validation. No one forces them to choose them, yet they keep repeating the same pattern. And then they hit the wall, because the wall doesn't forgive. When they no longer get the same attention as before, they start wondering why they can't find a good man. But by then, of course, the good men have already learned to avoid them.
5 red flags in men you should never ignore. Never. There are always red flags in the beginning. Literally always. So I'm going to put you on. Please take notes. First and foremost is if he talks about his ex. Having a little conversation here and there. Maybe you guys are just sharing experiences. Not great, but whatever. Here's where the red flag comes in. If he is talking about his ex in a bad way, saying how awful she was, putting her down, over the top, talking bad about her, why won't he shut up about how awful she was? Is she awful because of something he did to her? The answer is yes. Next one is if he knows too many girls. Also follows so many girls on social media. Biggest red flag is if you go to his comment section and it's just all girls commenting. No, get him out of here. Absolutely not. The next one is he makes plans with you last minute, or he only hits you up at night. Typical F-boy, they really don't want a relationship. They just want a good time. They're not looking for anything long-term. On the other direction. Not responding to any hey you up text. No. It's giving minimal effort. No, he needs to work for you and actually act like a man and not just a boy who just wants to hang out at his house. I'm not doing that. If you always have to question what you guys are, how he's feeling about you, trust me, when a guy sees what he wants, he will get it. If you find yourself caught up on a guy that does any of these things, honestly, just run the other direction and find another one. Trust me, what one guy won't do, 20 others will. And that's just a fact. Let me know what you think. Bye.
Oh, hell no!
This is a woman who clearly loves dating chads, but now she wants to give lessons on red flags. She complains about guys who badmouth their exes, have tons of women after them, and only want to see her at night. But those are exactly the men she keeps choosing over and over again. Then she drops the typical line, "What one guy won't do, 20 others will." Sure, while she still has options. But when the market stops responding, suddenly, the standards change. The reality is simple. If you keep running into the same type of man, the problem isn't the man. The problem is your choices.
Red flags in men part 2, because you guys clearly agreed with all of my part 1, and I've been through my fair share of red flags, and this is me telling you so that you don't have to learn the hard way yourself. Number 1, starting off strong. When they don't tell you where they're going, they don't tell you who they're going with, they don't tell you where they're going. They just say they're going out with the boys, or they have a busy day and they don't say exactly what it is, or they're very vague with where they're going and what they're doing and who they're doing it with. Regardless, they're hiding something, okay? They're hiding something. And they don't want you to know. Number 2, too much affection all at once. Now, this is the manipulator. This is the person that is giving you way too much, way too soon, and they're just doing that because they're infatuated with you and they don't really care about how far they get with you because they don't really want a big future. So they're just going to put it all out there so that they get you for a short period of time, or even that day, that night, whatever it is, and they're going to put it all on the table so they get you real quick so that they can let you go even quicker. And that could be the ones that drop the L-bomb like the first day or the second day or the third day that they see you out, because they don't really care if you are going to date, and they don't even care that they're going to say it later or if it means anything, because they just want you for the now. Number 3, if they don't answer your text or you at all for 24 hours. Nobody is too busy to not answer you for a whole 24 hours. If they gave a single flying shit about you, they will answer you at least once within the 24 hours. They will think about you and they will have to text you or reach out or even call you if they're in such a busy day. I'm telling you, if they go at least 24, and 48 means, oh my God, block them, okay? But 24 it's the limit. He doesn't. Number 4, now people are going to disagree with me with this, but if they've never gotten broken up with, they've dragged people on and they clearly don't care as much about that other person that they've ever been with or they've ever dated or they've ever had a situation with, that they can always end it first. If you can always end it first, that means that you weren't ever the one that cared so much. So you've never given your all to someone. You've never cared so much about someone. You've gotten into these meaningless relationships that don't mean as much to you as you've led on to the other person. So those are people that don't have much feelings for the people that they're in, or they don't really care to get that invested, or they know how to hold back. Because you know that you will be that victim that they leave in a year or 6 months or a week. And number 5, my favorite, if they are texting anyone from their past, literally anyone, any situationship, any hookup, any past relationship, whatever it is, they are holding on to the past and they are addicted to the past and they are keeping them there just in case, and they are not fully investing themselves into you, and they don't even plan on it, because if they were and they were so infatuated and so happy and so intrigued by you, they would be okay with just you, not all everyone else. And last but not least, if he is not a man of his word, he is not reliable, he doesn't follow through with the things he says, he clearly will never. And if he isn't doing it in the beginning and trying to impress you in the honeymoon phase and not following through on even the little things like taking you on a date, chances are he's probably never going to follow through, or very rarely ever going to follow through. So good luck out there.
Everything this woman said comes down to having control over the man. Basically, if he doesn't report his every move, doesn't reply within 24 hours, or doesn't cut all ties with his past, it's a red flag. But of course, if a man asked the same from her, he'd be controlling and toxic. There's no equality here, just rules designed to keep men under constant supervision. The worst part is that they disguise this as standards when, in reality, it's extreme insecurity. Because let's be honest, if a man really wants to cheat or lose interest, he'll do it with or without this ridiculous list. Obsessive control doesn't build relationships, it just turns men into emotional prisoners.
Reasons why I'm scared of marriage. Number 1, what if my husband is frugal? Number 2, what if my husband puts me on a budget? Number 3, what if my husband gets lazy and wants to sleep in separate bedrooms every night? Number 4, what happens if my husband gets sick of me and bored and we no longer are affectionate with each other? Number 5, what if he starts to monitor how many coffees I drink and tells me that I would save X amount of money if I had coffee at home? Number 6, what if he tells me that I already have enough shoes and I don't need any more? Number 7, what if we're out to dinner on a date and he tells me that I don't need dessert tonight? Feel free to follow for part 2.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This is pure gold for understanding how many people see marriage today, not as a union, but as a contract for personal benefits. Look at the list. Everything revolves around, what if my husband doesn't let me do what I want with his money? There's not a single mention of what she's going to contribute or how she'll make the relationship work. Just fear that the husband might have standards or expectations. The most ironic part? If a man made a list like this, saying, what if my wife gains weight? What if she stops cooking? What if she no longer wants to be intimate? He'd be crucified on social media. Here's the trap. They want a man to pay, but they don't want him to have a say in how the money is spent. And then they wonder why fewer and fewer men are interested in getting married.
I'm at the age where everybody is getting married, everybody is getting engaged, people are popping out babies like no tomorrow. And like, maybe I need to start sitting down with these people and like asking some really hard-hitting questions. And I'm so afraid of marriage and having kids. And it's not because I don't think that I have what it takes. I'm so afraid of never being selfish for the rest of my life. And I'm so sad seeing my friends who are moms and then hearing other relatives in my family say things like, you can't do stuff like that, you're a mom now. And it's like, dad is right there and he has not changed his life at all from the moment he conceived this child to the child now being 4 years old. And even being a wife, I feel like there is so much sacrifice that goes into being a wife and maybe not so much into being a husband, especially because so many men are walking into these relationships thinking that now that they have a wife, they have someone who's going to pick up after them, somebody who is going to do all their laundry and cook all the meals. And I have like this fear that I'm going to be like, I'm going to want to stay home. I'm going to want to take care of my household and I'm going to want to raise my children by myself instead of having to work 40 hours a week. And I'm so scared that if I do that, a man is going to one day be able to look at me and be like, you were able to do that because of me. My career allowed you to have this type of lifestyle. And that chills me to the bone because as someone who is working right now, yes, I still live at home, but I have lived by myself. And like, do you know how many things I could accomplish in a day if my laundry was always done for me? If I didn't have to think about what was going to be for dinner because I knew it would be on the table waiting for me? Do you know how successful I would be? Do you know how many ideas I would have and how much energy I would have for the things that I'm passionate about? And even just like grocery shopping these days, like I'm doing groceries for like a little 1-2 snack, and every single time it's coming up to over $100. You cannot tell me that marriage is not also an economic proposition and also not something that we have to do almost. If you want to be a homeowner, if you want to have a sustainable life, marriage is a really good looking option. And even if you have the best partner in the world who is a man, you're gonna end up 9 times out of 10 being the default parent anyways. The parent that the child wants whenever they're sick. The child is going to gravitate towards you because that's just a natural, normal ass thing. And I love that I'm alive during this time where we're having conversations about the realities of marriage and the realities of parenthood. And I love that the pressure is so much less than it was 10, 20 years ago, but that it's still present. It's honestly so much to think about. And it's like, is it worth it? Are these things that I really want? Is this something that I really have to do? Or can I live a fun and exciting life without it?
Here we have a single woman at the wall, worrying about problems she doesn't even have while still living with her parents. Her entire speech revolves around fear and sacrifice. But the most revealing part is when she says she feels like men don't have to change their lives when they have kids. Like, what kind of alternate reality is that? Men literally work longer hours, take on more risks, and shoulder the financial burden so that she has the luxury of staying home. But instead of seeing it as a partnership, she views it as a threat. On top of that, this idea that marriage is just a financial transaction is the result of the extreme individualism that has taken over the minds of many modern women. She wants a husband, but she doesn't want the commitments that come with being a wife. She wants marriage to be optional, but she still wants the financial benefits of one. And then she wonders why she ends up at the wall.
Okay, why is no one talking about that it's really freaking scary to get married? You're just seeing all your friends on Instagram being like, 100 days till I get married to the love of my life. Oh my gosh, everything's rainbow and butterflies. And you're here like, I'm freaking out. What if I'm making a mistake? I don't know if I'm making the right decision. What if like this is all wrong? And you're like doubting everything. And then you feel guilty because you're like, well, Susie's so excited for her wedding. Why can't I be excited for my wedding? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with my relationship? There isn't anything wrong with your relationship. You might just be someone who feels really deeply. You might be someone who is a little bit more sensitive, or you might be someone who has had really bad anxiety in the past and has always struggled with life transitions. That was me. And so when these big transitions or life events happen, you might freak out, and that's totally okay. But I know it sucks because you want to feel excited. You want to be like, I'm so excited to get married and my wedding's in 100 days and everything's rainbow and butterflies. And then it's not. And then you get really bummed. And I get that because I was also there. So all in all, I just want to normalize that it is really scary to get married for a lot of people. And just because no one's talking about it doesn't mean that people aren't feeling the same exact way as you. I'm putting it out there. I felt that way. I was freaking terrified. But guess what? It all worked out. And I was able to work through my anxiety because I wasn't actually afraid of getting married. I was afraid of like all of these other things that were just like coming up as a fear of getting married. It was a whole thing. But now I started engaged and anxious because I know that this is a real thing that people need help with. And that's why I'm here to help you. So if you are maybe just like an anxious person and you are all of a sudden doubting everything about relationship, you're overthinking it, you're questioning it. Maybe you're not even engaged yet. Maybe you are engaged, but you're like, okay, something is not right here. Even though like it is right, like everything in your relationship's amazing, you're just questioning it. You're in the right place. So first things first, if you are feeling this way.
Brothers, on the wedding day, only the man marries for love. The woman marries for a lifestyle. And here's the proof. Why so many doubts, so much anxiety, so much fear? Because for many, marriage isn't about the relationship. It's about what it represents. It's not about being with the man they love. It's about making sure they're making the best financial and emotional decision for their future. If it were truly about love, there wouldn't be this much fear. But when you know you're signing a contract that determines your standard of living, of course, you feel anxious. Because it's not just, do I love him? It's, will he give me the life I want? While the man is happy to get married because he loves his woman, she's busy running mental calculations to see if he's the best investment.
Did you know that being childless and husbandless is actually one of the most powerful things you can be as a woman?
Yeah. And I'll say that again because I know it's going to ruffle some feathers. But the feathers need to be ruffled because for all the young women out there, myself included, who felt or have felt or are feeling like they are behind in life because they do not have a husband, they do not have children, did it ever occur to you, my love, that maybe there are better and bigger things that God is trying to do in your life right now? And maybe He wants you to focus on your relationship with Him. That's the man you need to invest into God. Because it's not like I don't ever want a husband and kid. Maybe one day I was always the woman. I'm telling you, my whole life dream and goal centered around a husband and marriage and children. And, God put it on my heart at the beginning of this year that maybe God has bigger and better for me waiting. And I don't need the husband and children to get that. Maybe I can do that all by myself with God's help. Men are great, like if you find one that treats you well and makes life better, by all means, babe. And if you are married and if you do have children, I hope that you are living in your blessing, in the blessing that you have prayed for, because that's all we ever want. But I am just trying to encourage the young woman watching this video that has just dreamt and hoped and prayed as a little girl until she grew up to have this husband and kids. And babe, there is so much more in life to that. I promise you. And if it's meant to be, it's going to be. Okay? So just chill out. But there's a reason why the rich auntie that has no kids is happy, stress-free, and living her best life. Right, because she has no kids.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
Brothers, the wall doesn't forgive. Here we have yet another attempt at self-convincing disguised as empowerment. Not having a husband or kids is the most powerful thing you can be as a woman. Really? If that were so true, she wouldn't need to repeat it like a mantra. The reality is, when someone has everything covered, comfort, money, free time, life starts to lose meaning. That rich aunt with no kids she talks about might be able to travel and enjoy luxuries. But tell me, who's going to be there when she's 60 and no one calls her on Christmas? This kind of speech is just emotional anesthesia to justify choices that, deep down, they know don't lead to real happiness. Because she's hit the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive.
When I tell people I don't want to have kids or I don't want to be married, and they tell me, oh, no, you're going to change your mind. You're going to meet a guy and you're going to change your mind on those decisions. I always ask them, do you think I'm stupid? And then they'll try to save themselves with some bullshit of, no, it just takes the right one. Da, da, da. But I love to follow up that conversation with, am I stupid? Because you must think I'm stupid to be 28 years old and have been making decisions up until this point in my life that have got me here. But that one really big decision of having a kid or being married, I don't know about that. I don't know myself that much. Or you're telling me that that decision is actually not mine. And that even though I've decided and I've told you I'm not going to be doing these two things, it's actually going to take another man's opinion and decision on my body, whether or not we're going to have kids. Like, you must think I'm weak, I'm stupid. Which one is it? Choose one way to diss me. How are you going to choose all of them? I recommend you use this because although that person will never speak to you again, it does give you that chance to go head to head with someone who has like deep-rooted misogyny living in them. And honestly, those people need to be shutted up the most.
The level of aggression here is impressive. No one insulted her. No one called her stupid. Yet there she is, ready to fight a shadow. It's like a poor person saying they don't want to be rich when they've never even been close to wealth. Just like it's not the same for a single woman to say she doesn't want kids when she doesn't even have a partner to make that decision with. Talking in theory is easy, but it's a whole different story when reality comes knocking. But here's the key point. People say you'll change your mind because they've seen this story play out over and over again. It's not misogyny. It's simple observation. How many women who once said, I don't want kids or marriage, end up desperately trying to start a family at 35? Time puts everyone in their place. And when that moment comes, who will she blame? Because the wall doesn't forgive, and neither does reality.
Being cheated on or discovering partner's secret porn use can absolutely cause PTSD, and here are some symptoms to look out for. First and foremost, having intrusive thoughts and constantly having flashbacks of the betrayal. It replays on a loop in your mind. You picture him, what he was doing with her. You picture all the scenarios, and you cannot get these flashbacks out of your head. Secondly, hypervigilance, feeling like you're just constantly on edge and you don't feel safe around people, feeling like you're constantly scanning for threats, whether you're still in the relationship, you're constantly monitoring his behavior, or if you left the relationship, you are avoiding people, places, and things that remind you of your partner because you don't feel safe in those scenarios anymore. Also, self-blame is a huge one. Blaming yourself, thinking that you caused this, thinking that you could have done something to prevent it, when in reality it actually had nothing to do with you. This was just the result of his actions that were unrelated to you. Also, just having negative changes in thoughts and behaviors in general. If you used to be this happy-go-lucky person and now you feel like your innocence was lost and you feel skeptical and you feel like you can't trust others, and it's difficult for you to form new relationships with people because you don't feel like you can trust them, even people who were your long-standing friends and families, you always just feel like this sense of on edge, and especially you don't feel safe around men either. Also, having sleep disturbances, if you're waking up with nightmares, if you can't fall asleep at bed because your mind is constantly racing. I'm not saying you have PTSD, but these are all very common signs of having PTSD post-betrayal trauma. And so it's really important that my number one recommendation for any girl going through this is to prioritize your nervous system regulation. And I have a guide in my bio.
Oh, hell no! Comparing watching pornography to a betrayal that causes PTSD is absurd. No one is saying that porn is good for men. In fact, it's generally not recommended because it can distort reality and affect relationships. But calling it betrayal trauma is just a convenient way to play the victim without context. If a woman reacts this way because her partner watches porn, the problem isn't the man. It's her insecurity and distorted perception of the relationship. It's like saying that watching an action movie is the same as going out and starting a fight. Porn may be a bad habit, but it's not infidelity. And if her reaction is that extreme, maybe she should ask herself why she depends so much on her partner's validation instead of seeking her own emotional stability.
People always get so shocked when I tell them that I would not care if my boyfriend cheated on me. I wouldn't care one bit. And they're like, what do you mean you wouldn't care? I'm not saying I wouldn't dump him, because I would. He'd be gone. He'd be out. I wouldn't break a sweat. I would not care. I do not care if you cheat on me. Because when a man cheats on you, or a lady, or a they, it has everything to do with them and absolutely freaking nothing to do with you. Nothing. You could be doing everything right. If a man don't want to be loyal to you, he is not going to be loyal to you. If a man is not ready to settle down, he is not going to settle down. Period. And then people are like, you wouldn't be sad? Like, you wouldn't be so depressed? No. No, I would not. No, I would not. I'd be sad that they betrayed me, especially like, for example, my current partner. We live together now. So that's like a pretty big deal. It's the first time I've ever lived with a guy. But if we're being hella real right now, I know what I bring to the table. I have a great career. I'm low-key kind of cute. I'm funny. Like, I'm genuinely like awesome. So I welcome it. This person's not gonna be the last person to ever lay eyes on me and fall in love with me. And you gotta live life with that kind of confidence. This man doesn't want to act right for you. Trust me. There are a million other guys out there. Please. I would be so excited if I were you and I just got cheated on. So excited. I'm excited for you. If you just got cheated on, be hyped. Be excited that now you get to find someone that actually cares about you, actually loves you, actually wants to be loyal to you. Whatever. There's so many people out in this world. You're gonna find someone else. Look at you. Look at God. Congratulations on getting cheated on, babe.
Here we have a mix of self-deception and arrogance disguised as confidence, saying, I don't care if I get cheated on, while also claiming she'd leave instantly proves that she does care. She's just trying to spin it as an emotional victory. Now, the real fact, 56% of men who cheat do it due to a lack of intimacy, not a lack of love. But that part gets ignored because it would mean taking some responsibility in the relationship. It's much easier to say, he did it because he wanted to, than to ask whether she stopped contributing something. But hey, keep believing there will always be a million other options. Let's see if that mindset holds up when the market stops responding.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if somebody fucking cheated on you, they don't love you, they don't care about you, they don't respect you, and they probably don't fucking like you. Because if they felt any of those things towards you, they would have never fucking cheated. Stop making excuses for them. Stop thinking that they're gonna change. Stop thinking that it was your fault. You need to fucking leave. Why do you want to be with somebody that cheated on you? Why do you want to be with somebody that went and hooked up, kissed, talked, flirted, whatever, with somebody else? They don't care about you. I'm sorry, but the only solution is to leave and go find somebody that actually appreciates you. Because if somebody loves you, they are not going to think about anybody else. And all that bullshit of, they say they're going to change. They said that they're going to do better. They said that they're never going to do it again. Okay. But you still cheated on me, right? You still cheated. So you can go do better for somebody else because you already did it to me. Please love yourself more and value yourself more than staying with somebody who clearly doesn't value you at all.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
By their logic, if someone loves you, they won't think about anyone else, right? So what happens when women fantasize about another man, swoon over actors in romantic shows, or keep friends who are clearly waiting for a chance? Does that also mean they don't love their partner? Because the standard should be the same for both sides. 56% of men who cheat do it due to a lack of intimacy, not a lack of love. But of course, that's not convenient to admit because it would mean acknowledging that women also have responsibility in the relationship. Brothers, responsibility is kryptonite for women.
There's a period of time before you find out for sure that your spouse is having an affair, where you might subconsciously know that your spouse is having an affair. We live with our spouses day in and day out for most of the time, years. And we get to know the subtle nuances of how they move through the world, how they act, and what their patterns are. And we usually intuitively know if something changes and shifts ever so slightly with our spouse. So there's an intuitive knowing that happens before the real knowing, because it's almost as if the winds change in your house, ever so slightly, but you know it, and you know that something's different. You might then find yourself doing things that you never thought you would do and that you're not proud of, like looking through your spouse's phone, snooping, smelling their clothes before you put it in the laundry, checking their jacket pockets for receipts, checking their jackets for hairs that aren't yours. These behaviors are normal, and it's normal to want to look for evidence for why things might feel different when all you have is a feeling.
Fuck up, you crazy bitch!
Bruja, she's crazy. This is anything but normal. Checking pockets, sniffing clothes, snooping through his phone just because the winds changed. This isn't intuition, it's pure paranoia. And the worst part? She justifies it as if it were a logical and healthy part of a relationship. If a man did this, he'd be called controlling, toxic, and jealous. But when a woman does it, it's intuitive knowledge. Here's the problem. Instead of communicating with her partner like an adult, she turns the relationship into a witch hunt that only poisons it. And if by chance the man isn't cheating, he's already been judged and sentenced without evidence. Then they wonder why men feel suffocated in their own homes.
If I was cheated on or found a secret porn use or addiction, here's what I would do as a girl who went through this a year and a half ago, and now I help coach other women who are navigating this. First and foremost, nervous system regulation. I cannot emphasize this enough. This is what helps get rid of the anxiety, the rumination, the constantly replaying the memories and having the flashbacks of the betrayal and obsessively thinking about what happened. This is what helps alleviate that, and I have a guide in my bio to help women go through that. Secondly, decenter men. That doesn't mean you need to hate men. It just means you're going to stop prioritizing your life out of seeking validation for them. And I would start getting really clear on understanding how much the patriarchy has put this in my head and how much I do not need this. I do not need to seek male validation. Third, I would prioritize making strong female friendships with girls, people who will support you and uplift you and join support groups. So to have your feelings validated, to know you're not alone in this. And I also have one of those as well. Lastly, start expanding your world. Get hobbies, get creative interests, start focusing on nutrition or health, start focusing on career or getting a promotion. Start to find something to expand your world outside of this one man. The more you try to orbit your world around him, the deeper and deeper this betrayal is going to heal. But if you start to expand your world and focus on friendships, focus on career, focus on nutrition, focusing on getting a promotion at work, doing anything else but just focusing on him, that is going to help the betrayal feel less. And you're going to start to find the good in all of this, because you're going to start to create a life that feels better than the one that you had when you were or are with him.
Here we have a feminist creating more single women. This whole speech isn't about healing. It's about turning resentment into a business. You can tell she's more hungry for clients than actually helping people. The best part? The guide in her bio and the support groups that she coincidentally runs. Brothers, these days, everything is a business, even pain. They disguise it as empowerment, but the real goal is to keep women trapped in a cycle of victimhood so they never break free. And of course, what's the solution? Forget about men, bury yourself in work, and buy my guide. There's no real intent to heal, just to keep fueling the bitterness so the money keeps rolling in.
When was the moment you knew your marriage was over? For me, there were lots of moments, things I didn't recognize until later, that should have been the moment. Here's the first one that should have been the moment, now that I've been through all of this. We'd been married for about a year and a couple months. I was finishing up my degree to become a teacher. He was not going to school, and he was not working. Should have been my first sign. And that we had just found out, I'd taken a pregnancy test, that I was newly pregnant. We were excited, didn't know what was happening, like all the feelings. Well, 2 days later, I started bleeding, and what ended up being a miscarriage. I ended up staying home from school that day, just a lot of emotions. I remember crying a lot and not feeling great and bleeding a lot. And I remember not having the supplies I needed to handle a miscarriage. And I had asked my then husband if he would go to the store for me and go buy me some pads. And he looked at me and he was like, I can't do that. That makes me very uncomfortable. I was like, what? We are adults. I am your wife. I just had a miscarriage and I'm asking for some help. Please? And he said no again. And he made a reference to a time back in high school when he promised himself and some friends that he would never be that guy to buy those things. And in that moment, I remember being like, But it was a flash, right? I went and I put a hat on. I put a jacket on. And I left without saying anything to him. Eyes swollen from crying, not feeling great, to go buy the supplies I'd asked him for help with. That was the moment that should have been the moment. But I lasted 11 more years, 4 kids.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
She really expects us to feel sorry for a decision she consciously made. From the very beginning, the guy was a jobless loser, and yet she stayed with him, supported him, and most likely even provided for him. Then comes this so-called revelation after the miscarriage, which she clearly ignored because she stayed with the guy for another 11 years and had 4 kids. At what point did she realize it was over? After the 4th child? Let's be honest. No woman has 4 kids with a man she doesn't like. She was there because she wanted to be. Nobody forced her. So now you can't come around playing the victim and blaming it all on the man. You made your decisions and stayed where you wanted to be. Responsibility, as always, is kryptonite for women. Because no story can change the fact that you chose to stay for 11 years.
Do you want to know when it's really time to just walk away from your marriage? When is enough enough? If you're new here, hi, my name is Jackie. I'm 33 and I went through a divorce at 27, and I'm here just to be your divorce bestie and help you through this tough time. So when is enough enough? I actually get this question quite often. How did I know that it was over? Typically, the question kind of starts like this. We used to have an amazing relationship, and then something happened. Either somebody cheated or lied, or you just grew apart, and you're not quite sure how to recover from the situation. Maybe you're stuck in the roommate phase and there's zero intimacy. Maybe you both are just burnt out. Maybe it just feels stale. But the question is always the same. How do you know when to call it quits and just stop doing what you're doing and move on? I'm going to help you right now. If you're married to someone who treats you like trash, is physically or verbally abusive, tells you that you're stupid, tells you that you can't do anything without them, or says maybe you're too emotional, or maybe you're the problem, or you're stagnant and you're not getting anywhere in life. One of the biggest things that you should be listening for is when you approach this partner with your concerns, how do they react? Do they turn it around and flip it on you and point the blame at you when you're genuinely just trying to communicate? How do they react when you're telling them you want this marriage to work? You guys need to work together to make it work. When you ask them and tell them that you would like to try to make some improvements in your relationship for the both of you, for your kids, for whoever, and they look at you and point blank say, no, it's you. You're the problem. You're the reason why things need to change. You're it. That is going to be your biggest sign that it is time for you to go. And it's okay. It's okay because you tried. You did your best to make it work. And you had all intentions of trying to fix the situation for it to be better for you and your spouse and your kids. But if they're not willing to do the work with you, then my friend, it is time for you to walk away and put that effort into yourself. Have the best day, okay? I believe in you.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
When you hear this kind of speech from a woman who was only married for 3 years and ended up leaving her husband, you already know how the story goes. She always paints herself as the one who gave it all, the one who tried to fix everything, and the man is just the one who didn't want to change. But the truth is, when a man disconnects from the relationship, it's because he's been enduring and adapting for a long time, and there comes a point when there's just nothing left to save. Most of the time, men adapt. If she's cold, controlling, moody, or uncooperative, he puts up with it. But when he feels like he keeps giving and gets nothing in return, not even a gesture, not a single act of service, he starts to shut down. And it's exactly when he begins to disconnect that she finally reacts. But by then, it's too late. Because when a man gets tired in silence, he also walks away in silence. And there's no coming back from that.
As someone that has been married and divorced 3 times, I'm going to let you know right now that the switch up is absolutely real. You are not imagining things, okay? There are a few breaking points, if you will, where men will switch up in a relationship. And I'm going to give you a list of them. Number 1, when you become exclusive. That period of time when you cut off all of your other prospects, the men that you are dating or entertaining, and no, I'm not talking about sex for you men in the back. I'm talking about getting to know people, and now you decide that you're going to be exclusive with this one person. It is not uncommon for them to then switch up. Once where they were trying their hardest, they're spending time with you, they're bringing flowers and stuff. Now he's got you and he doesn't have to worry about that. So that's a very common point that they will switch up. Next one is when you move in or if you move location. So like cross the country to be with a man. Now you're in his house. Now you are isolated from your friends and from your family or from your roommates. And sometimes if an abuser is going to start abusing you, it could happen at that point. The next one, a lot of us know all too well, and that's when you become pregnant. Sometimes it takes you to become pregnant for you to see the real side of somebody come out. Now he sees you as damaged goods and he can do whatever he wants to you because in his mind, nobody else is going to want you in this condition. Now he can drop the mask and he thinks that you can't get away or get anywhere. The next one is marriage. Now he's got you locked down, sis. You got his last name. You're legally bound to him. He thinks he's in control. Mix that legal paperwork
with that Christianity mindset of, I'm the leader of the family, you must do what I say, and all those traditional roles, and that switch up can be real severe. Another point where that mask can fall off is if it's not when you're pregnant, when you actually have that child. Now all of a sudden he's not coming home and he's not, participating in the everyday rigors of raising that child, changing any diapers. He's left you to do it all, sis. He went from once a very helpful man to now you're feeling like a single mom in your own relationship or in your own marriage. And lastly, if you lose your income, this can also coincide with, having a baby or becoming pregnant. Now his mask is dropped and he's turned controlling because he thinks that you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything for yourself, and you have to ask him for money. Stay vigilant, ladies, and be prepared to leave at any point of time that they switch up on you.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
And I'd heard that the third time's the charm, but this woman just can't seem to get it right. Sounds like the only thing she's good at is running away. To me, everything she describes could be resolved if she stopped idealizing and actually tried to understand what her partner truly wants, instead of assuming or sugarcoating reality. If the guy tells you he doesn't want kids, don't have them. If he wants something casual, don't turn it into a relationship in your head. If he clearly states he's Christian and very conservative, don't expect him to change overnight. But it seems like everything goes in one ear and out the other with this woman, because she'd rather believe in the story she made up for herself. She talks about communication, but only listens to the parts that suit her. Then she's surprised when she ends up with men who were honest from the start, but never fit into the fantasy she imagined. And that's how she ends up collecting divorce after divorce.
Women.
Cheaters hang out with cheaters and liars hang out with liars, okay? So if your partner's friends all cheat on their significant others or exhibit sketchy behaviors that you're not okay with, just know that your partner does the same thing when you're not around, right? Like, you don't magically have the one great guy out of a group of dogs. It just doesn't work like that. And what you allow around you, you allow within you. So if your partner is okay with being friends with people who exhibit morally corrupt behavior, they probably allow that within themselves too, right? And an argument that I hate when people say, if you ask about this, like, oh, that's your friend, are you okay with them like doing that to their partner or cheating or being sketchy? And their response is, well, that's none of my business. If my friends who I look to for advice, for judgment, for support, if they exhibit morally corrupt behavior and do things like cheat on their significant other, if that's none of my business as their friend, then what is my business, right? And so be very careful about being with people who allow that type of behavior around them, because if they allow it around them and they don't think it's a problem if their friends do it, just know that in the same way that they kind of cover it up for their friends cover it up for them too.
I completely agree with this woman. You are a reflection of the 50% of the people you surround yourself with, and that applies to relationships too. That's why, as a man, you've got to pay attention to the details. If the woman has party girlfriends, red flag. If she's always off on girls' trips or loves going out every weekend without you, red flag. That never fails. And here's something a lot of people ignore. Look at her family. If the mom is alone, the sisters are divorced, the aunts are single, brother, they're showing you the future. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That kind of influence, no matter how much they deny it, always ends up affecting your relationship. And when problems come up, it's those same friends or that same family who stir up the chaos instead of helping. That's why I'm 100% with her when she says cheaters surround themselves with cheaters. Keep that in mind when you choose who you're going to be with.
You know, the main reason why I don't want to be married anymore is because the way that I've been able to make my 17-year marriage work all of these years is by compromising myself, compromising what I think, compromising about what I value, compromise what I want, compromise the type of relationship that I want to have. Everything has been a compromise, but the compromise has been on my part, me adjusting, changing, doing things differently to please my partner or to make the family as a whole work. And I just know that it's just not the right thing to do anymore. But on the other hand, it's really scary thinking that I'm going to be 52 years old out there living by myself with my kids, trying to make it in this economy. I don't have an education. I never went to school. I didn't have a career or anything like that. There was no plan B. This was always the plan, be married, stay married, raise a family, and just stay together and make it work to the end. I'm taking a huge risk, and sometimes I question whether it's the right thing to do. But I know the reason why I'm questioning is because I'm so used to compromising myself. I'm so used to putting myself last. I'm so used to just making myself disappear so I can be in these roles, wife, mother, whatever, and somehow hopefully make other people happy, and that'll be my life. But that's not the right way to live. I want to find a different way of living. And I have a lot of regret that I've waited so long and I'm doing it now at 52. I don't have youth. I don't have, all of the optimism. I don't have years and years in front of me. I don't really even have the time to kind of wait on it or waste. I mean, I don't have a ton of time. I mean, if I don't do it now, when will I ever do it? When will I ever be comfortable in my own skin? When will I ever feel proud and happy and like myself? When will I ever be in a situation like that again? Unless I go out there and try to take it for myself. It's pretty scary, but I have a feeling that it's going to be worth it. I think it's going to be worth it.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin.
She's 52, and now she wants to accomplish something in life. The best project she had, her 17-year marriage, she sabotaged herself. She couldn't take the time in all those years to read a book, learn a skill, or look for a part-time job. Honestly, this just sounds like she's blaming her ex-husband for her own laziness. If someone really wants to grow, they do it, with or without a partner. There are people who, instead of using their free time wisely, waste it watching TV or scrolling through TikTok. Then, when they realize they haven't gotten anywhere, they blame the relationship. The truth is, many people prefer the comfort of someone else's hard work rather than earning their own. And in the end, as always, responsibility is nowhere to be found. Because, like I said, responsibility is kryptonite for women.
So, I don't know how to get over my ex. I admitted it. It's been like 5 months since my breakup, and when I tell you that I wake up every day with the most crippling anxiety of my life, I would not be lying. I have tried everything. People say make more friends. I've made so many friends, and it just doesn't fill the void that I have. People say get new hobbies. I joined golf. I'm doing skating. I joined a gym for the first time in my life. I really started doing more art stuff. Still cannot get over my ex. And then people say, well, maybe just move. Switch up your environment, switch up your space, I moved from my apartment that I was in for the past 3 years while I was in my relationship to a completely different apartment. We've even been in this apartment together, and I still feel like I have this energy of him that I cannot get rid of. People say focus on yourself more. Okay, well, I only focus on myself. When I'm focusing on myself, I'm still thinking about him. My favorite is when people say, well, maybe go on different dates. Like, sometimes to get over someone and move on, you have to move on with someone else. I've went on 10 to 15 dates over the past 5 months. I'm not even joking. I'm on a break right now, but that's how many dates I've been on. And dates are the worst. I come home feeling so depressed, just horrible about my life, and then I really want to go back to my ex. I just don't think that's working for me either. Someone please tell me, please. I don't know what to do at this point. Is there anything I can take to move on?
Well, here's one for you. Haven't you heard the saying, the best way to get over someone is to get under someone else? Maybe what you need isn't more yoga, golf, or art. Maybe you just need a new flame. Because the truth is, you're trying to forget someone, but you're still stuck in the same emotional loop. You moved into a new apartment, picked up a bunch of hobbies, and still, you're right back where you started. And there's another quote I love. A busy mind doesn't miss anyone. But let's be real. This video you made isn't for the world. It's for him. He still has you in the palm of his hand, and you know it. This is a call for him to see it, hear it, and maybe even react. But be careful. Playing with fire after it's already burned you once usually ends the same way.
It's been 5 months since me and my ex of 12 years broke up, and I would be lying if I said I didn't think about him every single day. I'm getting better, I'm stronger, I'm healing, I'm growing, I'm refinding myself, I'm refinding my happiness, but I just think about him all of the time, and it doesn't help that the freaking memories on my phone keep popping up every single day. You know, like the pictures that come up right here are pictures of me and him every day. They used to make me break down and cry immediately, and like I know that I'm growing and I know that I'm healing because I don't cry over them anymore. I just look at them and, well, here I go crying. It reminds me of all the good times, but I have to constantly remind myself of all the bad times too, because realistically, the reason why we didn't work out, I'm ruining my makeup. The reason why we didn't work out, there's a reason why we aren't together anymore. I was talking to my friend the other day, and she was like, you should be grateful that you ever got to experience that kind of love, because most people don't. I will always cherish that for sure. But I'm starting to realize that just because I'm not sad. Maybe I am sad. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking in circles now. That part of my life is over. He has moved on.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
As the old saying goes, value what you have while you have it, not after you've lost it. The irony here is that many women cry over the man, say they loved him, but when they had him, they didn't know how to take care of the relationship. They didn't listen to him, didn't support him, and only when he walked away did they finally wake up. But by then, it was too late. Men aren't that complicated. They want to feel appreciated, cared for, to see genuine acts of service. If he left after 12 years, it's because he was worn out. It didn't happen overnight. It built up over time. But now, she's finally starting to value what she had, right when he's already moved on.
I actually think you should go back to your ex, and here's why. Stay with me on this one, okay? Oftentimes, we glamorize the idea of our ex so much, right? The relationship obviously ended for a reason. There's a reason you guys are not together, you're in no contact, whatever. But our brains love to play these tricks on us, making us think like, was it really that bad? Should I maybe go back? He wasn't the worst in the world. You're feeling lonely, it's after the breakup, whatever. And then you're thinking like, do I reach out? Do I go back? I think you should go back. Do it. Do it. Because once you do, you're gonna be like, oh, same situation as before, and literally nothing has changed. This person is the exact same, if not worse. They've made no improvement, and they clearly are still not meant for me. I do sometimes think that going back can make you realize everything that you're not missing out on, and it's kind of good. And it can kind of refresh your brain of like why you left in the first place, why you guys ended, whatever. I don't know. Sometimes you gotta go back to realize like, wait, you're not everything that I thought that you were.
Hey, bro. What?
Oh my God! The level of narcissism is unbelievable. They talk as if the guy is sitting at home, candles lit, waiting for them with open arms. But if he's a man with self-respect, he's already moved on. He's not sitting there hoping for scraps of attention. He left, he healed, and hopefully, he's now with someone who truly values him. As a man, you have to know your worth. You're not a toy to be put away and pulled out whenever she feels lonely or nostalgic. If she left you, let her keep walking. You don't go back to the fire that already burned you. It's better to start fresh than to repeat the same mistake with the same ending.
I know so many women that will spend years waiting around for a guy to give them what they want. And they're like, oh, we still have time. I can work on him. He doesn't want to get married. He doesn't want to have kids. I will change his mind. And it's so crazy from a third party perspective because to you and I who are not in the relationship, we're like, why wouldn't you just leave year 2 or year 3? That's plenty of time.
The longer you stay in something, the more your brain starts to trick you to continue
continue to stay. And here's what I'm going to say. People reveal who they are and what they care about through their behavior. If you want to get married or you want biological children and you are with somebody who says, I don't want that, they're not the problem, you are, because you refuse to let them be who they are. That's on you. If you are serious about wanting to get married, it is a form of self-abuse to continue to stay with somebody who does not. You're going to wake up and realize that you wasted your life with the wrong person. Nobody is going to change for you. People only change for themselves.
That's advice I'd take with a grain of salt, especially coming from a woman who left her husband and the father of her daughters, only to suddenly thrive in her career as a motivational speaker. Second, what many don't seem to understand is that, nowadays, men aren't exactly eager to get married. Modern marriage has turned into a business that mostly benefits the woman. If you already have a home, live together, have kids, and share vehicles, what's the point of signing a piece of paper? Just so that when everything falls apart, that same paper gets used against you? With 22% of marriages ending within the first year, do you really expect a man to rush to the altar? It's not fear of commitment, it's pure logic.
At the end of this video, you're going to look at breakups completely differently. Believe me, I just went through one about a month ago, and because I had this perspective going in, the unfolding has been magical. By the way, if you're new here, I'm Margot. I'm a PhD candidate in business psychology, and I help women upgrade their identity so they can have the impact and income of their dreams. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the slingshot theory. Okay, so here's the slingshot right here, and this is you in the slingshot. You just got broken up with, you're feeling sad, you're heartbroken, you're ruminating. But here's what's happening in the bigger picture. This slingshot, if you see, is actually directed towards your dream life. And see, every slingshot has to go backwards before it catapults forward. Here you are. So this breakup is actually the catalytic event that is going to propel you and quantum leap you into your dream life. Now, here's the caveat. You have to see it from this higher lens. You're allowed to still feel sad and feel your feelings. And I want you to start celebrating because the universe is making space for all your dreams to come flooding in. Your job is to use this heartbreak as a way to upgrade your identity. Let me give you an example. Let's say that your most favorite thing about the person you were dating was that they were really confident. Often what we're attracted to most in a partner is something that we believe we're missing. And so your new assignment is to become the most confident, empowered version of you that you can possibly be. And this heartbreak is going to be the catalytic event that propels you forward into this new character. And because it's a slingshot, the further back you go, meaning the more shitty you feel right now, the higher you're going to soar. On the other side of this heartbreak is your biggest upgrade. It's your ultimate transformation. Not to mention, once you're soaring high in the sky, you're probably going to look back and be so grateful it didn't work out with that person because you have a much better match ahead of you. And if you want more support catapulting into this new character, click the link on my bio and let's chat.
What I love is how so many women think the grass will always be greener on the other side. They leave the man thinking they'll find something better. But if the guy is smart and focuses on himself, he ends up looking stronger, more successful, more complete than ever. He literally becomes a Toyota, reliable, durable, and ready for any road. And while he moves forward, there she is, coming back. Or worse, stuck dealing with the garden she thought was better, but turned out to be full of weeds. Because when you leave based on emotion instead of reason, what you find isn't always better, it's just different. And sometimes, much worse.
Things my exes did, but I still stayed. He said, don't get me wrong, you're cute, but you would be so much more attractive if you lost weight. So I lost 50 pounds, and he said, well, maybe if you lose like 20 more, then you'll be perfect. In private, he would say that we're a couple, but in public, he would just call me his buddy. Wouldn't kiss me, wouldn't hold my hand around his friends. And when I would tell him that it bothered me, he would say stuff like this is the reason why we're not actually dating. At one point, we were long distance and he didn't have a car, so I had to drive to see him. He complained that I put in too much effort to come see him, but if it was a weekend he wanted me to come, he would beg me to drive up. He'd randomly say things like, well, if we're still together in the future and you get pregnant, how will you avoid gaining weight? He wanted to take a break to work on himself. We got back together a few weeks later and I found out he wanted to take the break to sleep with the girl he had a crush on. One time we were just talking and he told me point blank that if I exceeded a certain weight, he would break up with me on the spot. We would take pictures. He would tell me that I would laugh or smile too hard and that it was embarrassing. He moved. I drove in to visit and he told his new friends that a high school friend was visiting him for the weekend.
The question is, what were you doing in that relationship? Like my old man used to say, everyone fools themselves with the lie they like the most. That Chad clearly treated you badly, tore down your self-esteem, manipulated you, and yet you stayed. Why? Because you loved the drama, the chaos, that emotional roller coaster. There was probably a good guy around at the time who actually valued you, and you didn't even look his way. Of course, it was more exciting to drive miles just to see the guy who hid you in public than to be with someone who truly appreciated you. Then you complain about men, but never admit that you were the one who threw yourself into a relationship with a Chad who never really cared for you.
I just became my enemy. I'm walking in the mall and I see my ex-boyfriend walking towards me and he's hand in hand with his new girlfriend. They're like holding hands, they're looking at each other. We lock eyes, me and my ex-boyfriend, and we're about to walk across each other. Immediately he drops the hand of his girlfriend's, right? Drops it. Steps in front of her, right? And then like doesn't acknowledge her. As we're like exactly crossing, I like look at him like, you know, like, this is awkward, like, hey, and he, like, gives me, like, a nod, and as I'm, like, walking by and we're crossing, you know, his girl steps to him and goes, like, do you know that girl? Like, that was super weird, and he goes, no, I've never seen that girl in my life. Then our backs are towards each other, so I go to turn around because I just heard him say what he said. And she's already there looking back at me, staring at me. And when we lock eyes, transported to 4 years ago to when I'm dating this guy and we're on a hike and we walk by these two girl best friends and they come up to us and they're like, hey, how are you? And he's like, oh, hey, I'm good. Stops completely acknowledging me. She comes up to me. She's like, oh, hey, how are you? I'm like, okay, good. Anyways, we walk away and I'm like, do you know that girl? And he's like, no, never seen that girl before in my life. Like, I'm just being nice, right? Then anyways, we go to sleep at the end of the night and I'm still like thinking, like, I can't figure out like why I get a sticky feeling from this situation. So I go and I hashtag the mountain that we're on. Immediately, I know she's with her girl, so I know they went to the top of the mountain to take photos. I find her name. I go on his phone while he's still asleep and I look up her name in the messages. Obviously, they dated 2 years before that, right? So when he wakes up and I'm like, yo, that girl from yesterday, like, she didn't look familiar to you, like, you don't know her? And he's like, no. And I'm like, so then why did I find this on your phone? And immediately, like, I'm crazy, like, whatever. And, like, I stay with him because if there's something staying with a narcissist for so long will do to you, it will make you completely lose your sanity. Like, you will not, you know, like, have anything in your brain. So instead, I become obsessed with this girl, right? And I start stalking her for, like, the rest of the 3 months of the relationship. And I'm just, like, hating on this girl, looking at her socials every day because, like, for some reason, she's the enemy instead of my ex-boyfriend who's, like, lied to me and broken all boundaries and barriers of my trust. Anyway, so when I locked eyes with that girl, I just realized that I'm that girl now. I'm that girl to her.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Congratulations, woman, you've just leveled up. I have to say, Chads are very creative guys. Because seriously, to do that to your partner? I mean, I think it's more impressive to just show off your new girl and give her place than to do what this guy did. But like I've said before, Chads think differently. Also, I find it funny that she remembers that gesture so vividly, when in reality, she was even crazier for obsessing over that scene. She searched for that other woman everywhere. Technically, he didn't even cheat on her, he just embarrassed her. But what do you all think?
Tell y'all about the time that I knew my intuition was right on the money. I was dating this guy who went home to visit his family. He was out one night and he was acting weird. And you know, we always know when they're acting weird. Men, we know when your ass is acting weird. Of course, he swears he wasn't acting weird because that's what people do. They gaslight the fuck out of you. So anyways, his phone died. He's out really late. And like my dad, my late father used to always say, nothing good happens after midnight. I just knew in my gut that something weird had happened that night. Well, he gets home, whatever, we go about our business. One day I bring it up and I ask and I say, hey, remember that night when you were in blank place that he grew up and lived or whatever? And I was like, hey, remember that time? Well, did something happen that night? Because I feel like it was a little weird and there was a girl there that I kind of had suspected something went down with. Basically, this had passed. Weeks had passed, months had passed, and I kind of like tried to let it go, but it was still eating me alive. Like I still knew in my gut something was off. Like I just knew it. So I bring it up. And again, I get gaslit and he's like, no. And I had this really, really weird intuition. I was like, for some reason, I was right on the fucking money. I was like, did you delete text messages? Or like, there just was something odd that was off. Obviously, I wasn't looking at his phone. So I just straight up tried to have an honest conversation. And I was like, hey, I just feel like In my intuition, I know this. In my gut, I know this. And I would just love it if you were honest. We could have a conversation about it. Try to be chill. Try to be cool. We're sitting on my couch and he's swearing up and down. No, I would never do that. Absolutely not. Me? No. You know my character and I would never do that. That's about the time the phone goes bing and it's face up like this on the table and it's the girl that I thought it was. Dead ass, face up, bing on the table. And so I'm like, well, that's weird. I thought y'all weren't talking, so what's that? He tries to double down on the lie. Still looks me dead ass in the face and he's like, no, I wasn't talking to her. Like, I don't know why she's texting me. And I'm sitting here thinking, yeah, what a coincidence. So let's open up that text message and let's check it out. So he opens up the text and there's nothing above it. But very clearly she had responded to something he said and there was just no text above it. So obviously I knew that they had been deleted. Now, why do you delete a text if it's not shady? Say I'm grateful for that text that popped up because the one thing it taught me was always, 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 no matter what, listen to your intuition because you're right and sometimes you're right on the money.
Oh, hell no!
Men, if you're in a relationship and don't want to be there anymore, be clear. Speak up, end it, and move on. Don't get yourself into trouble. Don't play both sides, because that always blows up in your face. The dumbest thing you can do is complicate your life with lies when you could have just walked away with your head held high. And what cracks me up the most is how they always talk about their female intuition like it's some kind of superpower, but when it comes to choosing a guy, that radar never works. They skip over the good man and go straight for the one who ends up deleting messages behind their back.
My boyfriend has been cheating on me for 2 years, and this is how I found out. For all the girls that pride themselves like I did on not going through their boyfriend's phones, this is for you. I've been with my boyfriend for 8 years, and for those 8 years, I've never gone through his phone, and it's something that I've been, very adamant about. However, if I had gone through his phone, I wouldn't have lost 2 years of my life. Actually 8, because it's the whole relationship, but 2, because I found out that he's been cheating on me for 2 years. It really is that damn phone, because I found this out in the weirdest way. So my boyfriend bought a new phone, and he lost all of his contacts. So he asked me to text him so that he could save my phone number, so I did. So we're driving to my house, and I text him, "Hey, sexy, what's up?" He responds. I thought that this was weird, but sometimes he's into weird shit. He actually texts and drives, but he texts saying, "Hey, can't talk right now." And I thought, okay, he's just kidding. "Hey, can't talk right now. I'll text you in 5. That's what he says, and I interpret it as a joke. Because how can it not be a joke? As soon as we get home, he immediately runs to the bathroom, and my phone lights up. He's texting me, saying, "So, hey, what's up?" So I reply, not much. You? He says, "Super horny. Want to meet up tonight?" And I replied to him again at this point, we've been together for 8 years. So I was like, there's no way this guy is actually cheating on me. And it never crossed my mind. Like I said, I trusted this guy. So I just thought, he was being funny. And I was like, why later? Why not right now? I'm horny too. And he responds, "Okay, we'll try to make it ASAP. Cool?" Okay, cool. Then he comes out of the bathroom moments later, and I'm prepared to be like, what is up with this? Are you for real? Do you want to go to bed or something? Before I have time to say whatever, he immediately goes, "Hey, so I'm not feeling too good. I think I'm gonna head home." And this is where my jaw drops. He goes, "Oh, and by the way, can you actually text me so I can save your phone number? You haven't texted me yet." Who are you texting in the bathroom? I turned to him and I'm like, "You're kidding, right? You have to be kidding me. You cannot be for real. Who were you texting in the bathroom then if it wasn't me?" He just says, "Oh, shit." He came clean about everything. I didn't really have to try that hard. He just told me he's been with someone else for 2 years. I don't know which one of you I like more. That's why I never said anything. She doesn't know either. I'm like, what the fuck? He looked and sounded like a robot, and I couldn't really believe it. And he still says, I don't know which one of you I like more. Oh, but yeah, go through your boyfriend's phones. Go through your boyfriend's phones. I'm telling you right now, go. This is your sign. Because I was stupid. I didn't. And I regret it. Because, like I said, this would have saved me years of my life. So, yeah.
Stop it. Get some help.
Look, going through your partner's phone is a dangerous line to cross. Not just because you might find something that hurts, but also because you're invading their privacy. People have conversations with friends, family, old stuff that doesn't even matter anymore. But out of context, it can look like something else. If you're with someone and you can't trust them, it's better to walk away with dignity. That relationship is already broken. Now, she had every right to leave when she found what she found. The guy cheated, period. There's no excuse for that. But turning phone checking into some kind of must-do advice, like it's a foolproof tactic, that's not it either. If you have to be checking phones just to feel secure, then you're not with the right person. End of story.
Things my white ex did and I still stay. Made me watch Love Island and chose the season where the black girl wasn't chosen and specifically asked me why the black girl wasn't chosen. Told me that I was none of his friends' types and that his friends didn't think I was cute. But here's the catch. He thought I was cute, so he wanted me to know that. Asked me where I wanted to go on a date, drove past the restaurant, saw it was valet parking, and then was like, F this, I'm not doing that, and then took me to like a $5 taco place. Told me I was racist because I said I would not take any disrespect and continued to call me racist. Messaged my best friend and DM'd her even though I'm clearly posted on her Instagram. So I got my best friend to follow him just to see if he was loyal, and he DM'd my best friend, hey. And then when I asked him why he DM'd my best friend, hey, he was like, I just wanted to know what was going on. Mind you, I had other friends also prior to that follow him, and he did not DM any of them. He DM'd my one friend, though, who he did bring up before. He also, while we were talking, would like other girls' pictures, follow other girls, had his ex-girlfriend of like 4 years on his closer friend's story, and then accidentally told on himself when he was telling me a story about how his ex-girlfriend called him the day before. And then he claimed he was in no contact with this girl. Clearly he was. He also, mind you, when I asked him, hey, are you still in love with your ex? He never answered, and the entire car ride was silent. He also would get mad at me when I wanted to see my college advisors. So this was during the beginning of the year, and he got upset when I had multiple meetings with my college advisor. He literally was plotting on my downfall. Wait, there's so much more, but I literally will not ever put that on the internet. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. But it's kind of like crazy because even though someone can be so horrible to you, you still want to be with that person. And I'm definitely struggling with this. I've always been alone my entire life. And this was the first person that showed me like deep attention. So obviously I'm getting over this person, even though they were like actually terrible. And all my friends are like, are you crazy? But I'm still trying to get over this person. I need to get over this person. And there's no going back now.
Brothers, serious question. If tomorrow you get into a relationship with a woman who doesn't support you, constantly criticizes you, drains you emotionally, and your self-esteem hits rock bottom, is it her fault or yours for staying? Because when a man goes through that, no one holds the woman accountable. On the contrary, they tell you, you must have done something. Like it's always your fault for putting up with the abuse. And when the harm comes from them, responsibility just disappears. There's always someone saying, she only acts like that because of her past, or she's healing. But if you do the same, you're labeled toxic instantly. Because responsibility is kryptonite for women.
Women.
Everything that I say are just my opinions and the boundaries that I have within my relationship. So it's really important to decide what boundaries you want to create within your own relationship, and that is okay if it's different than mine, different from anyone else's. That being said, Dylan and I have friends who very openly go to strip clubs or have been to strip clubs for a bachelor party or a bachelorette party, stuff like that. And if that's okay within their relationship, it really really is to each your own. However, going to a strip club is a boundary for Dylan and I. If Dylan was invited to a bachelor party and one of the activities was going to a strip club, I would expect him to not go. That doesn't mean he needs to sit out the entire bachelor party or not be there at all. But in my opinion, Dylan doesn't need to sit in a room with a bunch of naked women slipping up and down a pole in a thong. And if Dylan has a problem with that, then I think there's a bigger issue. Oh, but all my friends are going. It's just funny. It's just a joke. I'm gonna look so weird if I'm the only one sitting it out. I literally could care less what the excuse is. That's just a boundary that I have. You're not going to a strip club. I'm not okay with you going to a strip club.
Stop it. Get some help.
One time, my old man hit me with one of those talks that really stick with you. When you get into a serious relationship, there are things you're going to have to stop doing. Not because they're bad, but because they just don't fit with this new stage of your life. And he was right. What seems fun with your buddies might not have a place when you're trying to build something real with someone. And look, I'm not trying to be a hypocrite, but I wouldn't be cool with seeing my woman doing a striptease in a room full of guys. Because I know what goes down in those places. I've seen videos, heard stories, and honestly, a lot of times women get more out of control than the men. If you want something serious and lasting, those environments just don't help. But hey, that's just my opinion. What do you guys think?
I'm about to be so controversial right now, but how are you guys so chill with your man going to the strip clubs? Like, what is your train of thought? Please let me know. I used to think that way, but that was when I was like 17. Like, I really didn't know what was going on. Everything that I thought I knew was completely wrong at 17. I was like, yeah, I'm just super secure with myself. So like, it's not a big deal if my boyfriend goes to the strip club, or like, oh my gosh, why would it matter? I trust him. I'm not insecure. I just wanted to be the chill girlfriend because I wanted to be agreeable. Now, my boyfriend will never ever step a foot into a strip club as long as he is with me, because it's just straight up disrespectful. Like, you're okay with your man going in to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars on other women? It's absolutely not about trust. It's about respect. Some of my stripper friends will not allow their significant other to even go to the club. So like, why are you guys so chill with your man?
A man needs to understand that his superpower isn't in his looks or his money. It's in his attention. And women are addicted to that. That's why you see those seemingly absurd jealousy moments like, why did you like that photo? Or, who's that girl you're following on Instagram? Because in her mind, you're giving away something that's worth more than gold to her: your focus, your validation. I always say, women are more territorial than men. They talk about controlling guys and all that. But have you seen the things women notice just to keep tabs on their man? That's why, of course, there's going to be a problem if you go somewhere where your attention is being handed out to other women.
Hey, men and women. I wanted to stitch a video by, I think his name was Tattooed Ryan Reynolds, talking about why men should not be going to strip clubs, why it is not okay for married men, and we might as well throw boyfriends in there too, why it's not okay. I would just want to put my 2 cents into this, okay? If you even want to hear it or if you care. I know it's kind of just been accepted, it's the social norm, that guys, even if they're in a relationship, to be going to a strip club. And there's a lot of women that say they're okay with it. Sometimes they even go with them. But is that really okay with you? Should guys actually that are in a committed relationship do that? Ladies, do you have to like it and go along with it? Do you feel like you're not, that you're too old school or whatever, you're too uptight if you don't want your men going there? But let me just tell you this, or let me ask you this. If you are a married man, if you are a boyfriend and you're in a committed relationship, is it cheating if you have some woman, doesn't matter who it is, but let's just say, for argument's sake, you have no relationship to this woman at all. You've never even met her before. But would it be okay if, she started just taking off her clothes for you, maybe doing a little lap dance on you, rubbing her goods all up in your face, rubbing against your lap and things like that. And you purposely had this girl come over or whatever for the purpose of being turned on and staring and fantasizing and whatever of this woman. And then she does her thing and she leaves and you never talk to her, you never text her or anything like that. Would your wife or girlfriend be upset? Ladies, would you be upset if you found out that he just found some random chick and, they did all these things and then that was it? The answer would be yes. You'd be a weirdo if you said no. So why is it that because it happens in a building, a business establishment where money is exchanged, that suddenly that's not cheating? That's my question. So would a prostitution house be okay if they went there and did the deed and he never spoke to her again and it wasn't anything personal, but he was just paying for a service, right? You go to the strip club, you're paying for a service. What's the big deal? But if you just take that business institution out of it, the exchange of money for entertainment, it's not okay. So if it's not okay, then why are strip clubs okay? Doesn't make any sense.
Hey, bro. What? Oh, my God!
I can agree with her if they're in a serious relationship, but then it has to go both ways. Because if you're going to ask your partner not to go to a strip club, then you should also be willing to give up things he's not comfortable with, like girls' trips, late-night outings with friends, or those bachelorette parties where we all know the guys there aren't exactly there just to chat. Because if you're going to demand, you also have to be willing to compromise. It can't be that you get to dance with strangers at a club because it's just a night out with the girls, but he can't watch a show without touching. If we're going to talk about respect in a relationship, then it should be equal on both sides. Otherwise, that's not love, it's hypocrisy.
Non-negotiables in my relationship that are controversial. First one gets me called crazy a lot, but strip clubs are a no-no in my relationship. I am not okay with my boyfriend going to a strip club. Let me clarify that my issue is not with the dancers. I know they're there to do their job, but I just think it's disrespectful. My boyfriend going to gawk at other women's naked bodies, to me, it's disrespectful. The only bare booty and chest that he should be looking at is his girlfriend's. Me to my next one. Checking out other women in front of me. Absolutely fucking not. Here come the people that are like, it's human to find other people attractive. Yeah, that's fine. I know that other people are going to be attractive or more attractive than me, but you're just not going to look at them while I'm there. I dated a person once that would stare at literally every single girl that walked into the room. And I just thought, well, you know what people say, men are visual creatures. They're just going to look. And that is not true. You deserve respect, and there are men out there willing to respect you. Last one, I think most of us can agree on, but it is liking other women's photos. Simply will not be doing that. To me, you're showing her that you're interested and that you like what you see. There's the guys that are like, it's not even like that. It's not a big deal. So stop. Know what you think? Sound off in the comments. Also, let me know if you can guess my sign. Bye.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
This is exactly why I always say a man's attention is his superpower. Women are addicted to it. This girl says her boyfriend shouldn't look at other women, like their photos, or go to a strip club, because to her that's disrespectful. But if you check her Instagram, chances are you'll find suggestive poses, aiming for the very same attention she doesn't want you giving to others. So how can a man be expected to accept that double standard? You get to show yourself off to the world, but he can't even look? It's getting to the point where just looking is dangerous. And of course, if he likes a model's photo, he's suddenly a potential cheater. But if you post bikini pics, it's empowerment. Bro, something just doesn't add up.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but being a cool girl is out. If you are a girl in a relationship, or if you're not in a relationship, but you are looking to be in a relationship, whatever it is, do not try to be cool. The girl who doesn't care, the girl who, yeah, babe, go to a strip club. I don't care. I'm so cool. Yeah, I love going to a club with you and watching other girls grind up against you. I'm cool. I don't care about it. Not cool. You know what's cool, ladies? Having boundaries and being able to communicate them. If you do not want your partner to go to a strip club, if you do not want your partner to do things that you deem as disrespectful, it is okay to say that you're not okay with it and to expect that your partner respects your boundaries. And if your partner does not respect your boundaries, or he has an issue and he's like, but all my friends are going to a strip club and I'm gonna be the only one who's left out. You need to reevaluate your self-worth and how you value yourself, because do you really want to be with someone who is like that?
Like the saying goes, just because you can resist the devil's temptation doesn't mean you should walk into the fire with him. If you know a place might cause problems in your relationship, brother, avoid it. You don't have to test your willpower all the time. Sometimes the best decision is simply not putting yourself in that situation. Now, if you're in a relationship where everything you do needs to be reviewed, where control is disguised as respect, be careful. No one wants to live with someone who has to authorize your every move. Respect is mutual, but if it's only about what she allows, then it's not respect anymore. It's emotional dictatorship.
Women.
We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. What do you think about a married man going to a strip club? Has a woman ever become controlling in one of your relationships? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from the wall.